is to childhood learning centers. At the Harold Washington Library, Emmanuel thanked Exelon for the $2.5 million grant behind these centers.
With Exelon's help, now 20 of our 80 neighborhood libraries will have early learning centers and rethinking exactly how kids learn, and with the help of not just building a space, but reimagining it.
The centers will be divided into different areas with activities designed for preschoolers, elementary school students, and tweens. In sports, Trailblazers over the Bulls 88-77 in NBA Summer League action. The news is service of Geico Chicago. Hey, Chicago, Geico now has even more ways to save you money. Your local Geico agent's ready to deliver the personal service you need with the savings you love. Call 773-582-AUTO. That's 773-582-AUTO for your local Geico agent. AM 560 News Time 5:04. Traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
The temperature this summer is on the rise, and everyone is talking about one person, President Donald Trump. As controversy swirls around his presidency and the Democrats and the mainstream media take aim, what will happen next? Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for the Summer of Trump, Tuesday, August 22nd at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, also featuring Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/summer. That's 560theanswer.com/summer.
Being a small business owner, you wear many different hats. You're the innovator, the marketing director, the CFO. But when it comes to legal issues, do you have the degree necessary to defend your business? Having an attorney on retainer doesn't have to be as expensive as you think. Gone are the days of paying $10,000 a month for help. Legal Shield is there to deliver personalized legal counsel without the outrageous prices of traditional attorneys. Business plans include unlimited advice, contract review, trial hours, and collection letters. No longer will precious hours and resources be wasted. Find an attorney you can trust with your livelihood. Call your Legal Shield associate today. If you're new to Legal Shield, call your independent associate Karen at 224-622-8842. That's 224-662-8842. Legal Shield. Worry less, live more.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
It's absolutely amazing that the combination of these capsules improves your health. It does tell you the value of food and nutrition.
I actually can feel a difference. I really can.
I love the product. It's wonderful. I can't live without it.
It's really helping me. Every time I take it, my body says, thank you.
This is the first winter that I went through that I didn't get a cold.
I love my fruits and veggies. I'm a line dancer, and I just turned 78, and it has made a big difference in my stamina and just my overall well-being, and I have so enjoyed them. I just love taking them and what they do for me.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
At 5:07 from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, let's say good morning to Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, David and Elgin. Got a crash on McLean at Lawrence this morning, but the big issue remains the flood-related closures throughout the north and northwest suburbs. Most of the major roads which were closed yesterday remain closed today. In addition, closures and displays of River Road, Algonquin, and Northwest Highway are minor in that area. And several cross streets, including Central Road, are closed as well. Waukegan Sheridan Road is flooded between 137 and Shore Acres. Stretches of 137 still closed. Lake Cook is closed in Deerfield. Waukegan Road, Red Oak, 41 in Lake Forest still shut down between 60 and 137. The closures of 45, 132, and Highway 50 in the western part of Kenosha County. Expressways and tollways this morning look pretty good. There is some road work at the south end of the Ryan, starting at 87th and the 3 right lanes. But otherwise, expressways are good. Traffic is the service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores, the Napa Legend battery comes with a $15 prepaid Visa card by mail. So start every drive with the Legend. Save yourself some money with a Napa Legend battery. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next, but now the forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A humid day today with clouds and some sun for the afternoon, high 87. Patchy clouds for the night, low 65. Tomorrow, partial sunshine with lower humidity, high 77. Clear night, low 62. Saturday, mostly sunny, high 84. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Lakefront 74 degrees, 75 Midway, 76 at O'Hare. Your next news at 5:30. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning, because we thought we'd roll the dice with our FCC license, is Sean from Elmwood Park. Sean.
Cannot be hung up on today, baby.
A pleasure to have you in our physical presence.
Yeah, you too. That you got here 35 seconds ago and didn't have the time to shave. I mean, you should see yourself.
I'm just-in-time delivery. That's how I do it.
I like it.
It's very efficient.
Very good. No prep. We don't know what we're talking about. You're just in charge. Go ahead.
Well, yes, no, it was prep time. I mean, maybe not by both of us.
All right.
Yeah. So yesterday, Pat Robertson, who has done many things in his life. He is babysat. He's mowed lawns, so it's a little unfair to call him a televangelist. I'll do my Al Franken impersonation of Pat Robertson later. But President Trump sat down for an interview with Pat Robertson and the Christian Broadcasting Network, talk about a number of issues, including Vlad Putin, as well as Obamacare. And on Vlad Putin, in his recent confab with the Russian autocrat, President Trump had this to say.
What do you think he wants? I mean, I know he said what he wants, but what do you think his game is?
Well, he wants what's good for Russia.
Yeah.
And I want what's good for the United States.
Okay.
And I think, like in a case like Syria, where we can get together, do a ceasefire, and there are many other cases where getting along can be a very positive thing. But always Putin is going to want Russia, and Trump is going to want the United States. And that's the way it is. And sometimes you're not going to get along on things, and sometimes you will. But we had a good meeting. It was a face-to-face meeting. It was a long meeting. It was 2 hours and 15 minutes. Everyone was surprised by the amount of time, but that was a good thing, not a bad thing.
Sure.
I think we got along very well, and I think that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
People said, oh, they shouldn't get along. Well, who are the people that are saying that? I think we got along very, very well. We're a tremendously powerful nuclear power, and so are they.
That's right.
It doesn't make sense not to have some kind of a relationship.
You have to admit that you enjoy when the president refers to himself in the third person.
That's what I was going to say. I don't have a problem with anything he said, except why must you refer to yourself in the third person? And as far as Pat Roberts, now, I'm older. This isn't the guy with the redhead in the motel like Jessica Rabbit.
That's Jimmy Swagger. Oh no, with a redhead. Jimmy, you're talking about Jimmy. I Have Sinned.
The
Jimmy
girlfriend,
Swagger.
yeah, with the red hair in the Motel 6, married to the girl with the. She's passed away now.
No, that's Jimmy. That's Jim Baker.
Oh, I can't get my swindlers.
Jim and Tammy Faye Baker.
And I woke up, and
don't tell me you didn't go to their amusement park back in the day.
You know what? I was going to buy the season passes, but see, I'm a child of the 70s. I'm a little older than you, so when you grow up in with TV of the 70s. You're distracted because at that point, you couldn't tell the difference between the Western Avenue car salesman and then the Reverends in the 70s. They were kind of the same thing, so I always get them confused. So this is the little guy with his hair parted to the side who still tries to stay relevant. He's got the television program.
He ran for president in 1988.
Yeah, that's him.
700 Club.
Oh, that's him.
Okay.
I want to get my guy straight.
All right, and so they continued on this conversation about Putin. Well, it was mainly kind of Trump just speaking extemporaneously, as you heard. One of the headlines that came out of the interview was, the net of this based on Trump's policy agenda versus what Hillary's policy agenda has been for the last 30 years and would have been as president, is Putin would have preferred Hillary.
There are many things that I do that are the exact opposite of what he would want. So when I keep hearing about that he would have rather had Trump, I think probably not, because when I want a strong military, she wouldn't have spent the money on the military, but when I want a strong military, when I want tremendous energy, we're opening up coal, we're opening up natural gas, we're opening up fracking, all the things that he would hate, but nobody ever mentions that.
Yeah, and he doesn't shake down Uranium One Russian energy companies for tens of millions of dollars for his foundation either. So that's another net benefit for Putin.
Trump's absolutely right. I mean, I for the first time, I don't have a problem with anything he said. I think he's absolutely right in his dissertation of what Putin wants, and I don't think I think he's right also that it's going to help us if there is an open line of communication. However, you're always adversarial when you have different currencies, which I like. I don't want a one currency. I agree with Trump on this point. I agree with Vladimir Putin on the point that it would be best for the world if oil was not priced in the petrodollar. I know it would implode our economy, but it would be best for everybody if it weren't. So I understand both points. I think that's Vladimir Putin's number one goal, and we should always remember that.
You agree with Putin that the U.S. dollar should not be the reserve currency?
I don't think it should. No, I don't think it should. I don't want to see because.
Are you colluding with the Russians?
It's apparent collusion. See, listen, that's what it's always been about. That's what all of the problems are about. That's what everything is. It's always about the money. So, in other words, it would be best for us if we produced our own energy. I do want to be energy independent, right? I do think that we have been able to manipulate the world economy because we are in control of the commodities of the world economy. And how is that right for other countries that produce energy as well? So if Russia is energy rich too. We like to pretend that they're not. But they could implode the diamond market. They could implode the gold market. They could implode the oil market. They could strengthen their own currency.
Why would we?
I'm not pro-Russia, but I'm just trying to say, let's keep our eye on what the real tension is between the two countries. The real tension is the petrodollar.
Well, you can make an argument about fiat money, but doesn't the U.S. dollar as the reserve currency of the world provide a certain amount of stability?
No, it provides our ability to fraud our economy. And the fiat currency is my problem with it.
Well,
as a fundamental guy, I don't want a fiat currency.
I understand, gold standard guy. I get
that's exactly right. Not just because I'm long.
I get that, but I just the idea that we would take the position of ceding the dollar as the reserve currency, and I mean beyond even advancing Russia's interests. But that would be a destabilizing event, I'd suggest.
Well, listen, in the meantime, you've got a guy now who promised to change things, who's doubling down on things. See, I want those things changed. My political view is not about a person.
Well, what is he doubling down on? You just suggested that you agree with him both in terms of military readiness and the investment that needs to be made there, as well as
not necessarily,
as well as energy independence.
Well, I want our debt to come down. I want our spending under control. These things are not happening. We are spending record number of money, and there's no focus in it. At the time we're spending money, we are also we are increasing our debt at the same time. And at that same time, our government has never made more from its citizen than right now. I want that to change.
Taken more. The government doesn't make anything.
It seizes. I believe I used the word seize.
So at the risk of teeing this up for you, the other part of the conversation that I thought was particularly relevant was the back and forth about Obamacare replace and Trump speaking about the politics of it. He's made indications that he's willing to go after Republican senators who hold up Obamacare replace, like Jeff Flake, potentially from Arizona. But this was, more of threatening encouragement. I would describe Trump's comments, threatening encouragement for Mitch McConnell and Senate Republicans as they're poised this morning to release an adjusted health care bill, an adjusted Obamacare replace that would include the Cruz-Lee amendment to allow health insurance companies to offer less expensive plans that do not include Obamacare's essential health benefits, as long as one of their offerings does. It's also expected to include a $45 billion fund for states to use in the battle against the opioid problem. Oh. And this is buying off senators
This is everything he ran
in
against.
states including Ohio and West Virginia. By the way, this isn't necessarily Trump isn't driving this train. By the way, Mitch McConnell is. Let's just be clear about that. As Trump is, you'll hear in a second. This would also maintain Obamacare's 3.8% investment tax and 0.9% Medicare surtax on upper income earners. That's what is going to be proposed today. It's an adjustment. It's not a significant adjustment. The most positive thing is the Cruz-Lee amendment's inclusion. So that's where it's at. And where does Trump need it to be? Well, here's him describing his posture.
Number one, repeal and replace. I am sitting in the Oval Office with a pen in hand waiting for our senators to give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
For years, they've been talking about repeal, replace, repeal, replace. I think they passed it 61 times, repeal and replace. But that didn't mean anything because you had the minority, the Republicans. They didn't have the majority, so it wasn't going to get to the president. But if it ever did, Obama wasn't going to sign it, so it didn't mean. Now we have a president that's waiting to sign it. I have pen in hand. So now it means something. But with all of that being said, it has to get passed. They have to do it. They have to get together and get it done.
What will happen if they don't?
Well, I don't even want to talk about it because I think it would be very bad. I will be very angry about it, and a lot of people will be very upset. He's got to pull it off.
Yeah.
Mitch has to pull it off. He's working very hard. He's got to pull it off.
Mitch has to pull it off, Sean.
He has to pull off a word salad. He's not really asking for or advocating for a repeal and replace. He just wants to shore it up. A repeal is to repeal the fundamentals of Obamacare. You're keeping all the fundamentals. You're shoring them up, and you're pretending to give it out through a federalism that no Republican governor, who's going to take the option to not to expand Medicaid or Medicare?
Who's not going to
Which
expand?
Republican governor will not take the money to expand? Will it be Rauner?
A lot of them didn't. Scott Walker didn't.
Okay.
A lot of Republican governors.
What's your definition of a lot? Kasich loves it.
Yes,
Kasich's been frauding his budget on the money.
Some did and some didn't. And the ones that didn't are
How about the guy I want you to run against?
the conservative reform one.
What will Rauner do?
Well, that wasn't Rauner's decision. It was Quinn's. And so Quinn accepted that. Quinn was, of course, an enthusiastic early adopter of the Medicaid expansion under Obamacare.
What's your opinion of what Rauner will do?
In terms of the continuation of...
Correct. The expansion, the fraud that we all know is the expansion of welfare called Medicare.
Medicaid. Well,
Pick one.
Well, I mean, there are big difference, but in terms of what Rauner will do, if what ultimately comes out is something on the order of what both the Senate and the House have proposed with respect to Medicaid, you would be getting block grant dollars from the federal government to the states for this joint federal-state program called Medicaid, and you would no longer be incentivized to spend money on Medicaid because that gets you more money from the federal government in support for expanding Medicaid. So it's not. So it would be less about opting in or opting out, and it would be more about governors managing the dollars they get from the federal government to support their federal-state Medicaid program.
So you're saying that this will be the first government program where they're not incentivized to spend the money in order to get that baseline budgeting where they get the 3% hidden increase every year. You're saying you think that these Republican governors will manage the welfare money called Medicaid fairly?
Well, Medicaid, remember, is the intended beneficiaries when it was conceived, pregnant women, indigent children, the disabled.
How's that working?
Well, it's not working great for those target populations because it's expanded to be an entitlement to be used by politicians to curry political favor, and then you can't pay your bills. And so the people who are intended to benefit from Medicaid actually see their access to quality care worsen, as has been the case in Illinois, and their options narrowed. That doesn't mean that's how it has to be, and it doesn't mean that this eliminates all the perversity of the incentives. I'm just saying this is a reform that reins in the spiral that Obamacare is creating for states that opted into the expansion of Medicaid under Obamacare. It is a substantial reform, this one aspect of it. We can talk about the insurance company bailout fund and the taxes that are still there and the regulations that are still there. But in terms of Medicaid, this is a fairly positive step and a fairly significant walk back from what Obamacare did to that program.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
All right, now I notice that they trimmed down the weather report, which I love, because it's Illinois. You get 60 good days. This one's not one of them. Today, mostly cloudy with a high near 85.
How's that not a good day?
Humid. They're leaving out the rain. We're all going to get caught in the rain again. They're frauding us again. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 66. That's okay. That's good sleeping weather. Friday, partly sunny with a high near 75. Partly cloudy overnight with a low around 65. See, this is the thing. You get hot in the day, cold at night, you get sick. Jim Telemonte is going to tell us where to clog up. Where's the hybrid screwing up everything early in the morning?
Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Dan. Well, many of the flood-related closures remain in place throughout the north and northwest suburbs, so things will be clogged up there again. Also, we do have a crash this morning in Elgin and McLean at Lawrence. As far as the expressways and tollways go, we're off to a fairly smooth start. See a little traffic on I-55 northbound from 126 to Weber Road. Crash just reported there. Farther north, inbound a little heavy on I-57 at the Bishop Ford. Nothing unusual, but major closures, those that were in place yesterday, are still in place today in places like Lake Forest, Deerfield, Waukegan, Libertyville, and others also in Kenosha County. Also in Des Plaines, River Road is closed. Algonquin down to a 14 Northwest Highway in that area, and many of the cross streets are closed as well due to the Des Plaines River flooding there. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
If your roof is needy, if your roof is leaky,
call Grumweedy.
If your roof isn't right after it's stormy and shingles are curly,
call Grumweedy.
If your roof is looking needy, call Crumweedy. This is Mark Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Greg Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business. We've been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You really can't do that unless you do really amazing roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we really want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is really the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. You know, a lot of companies don't do that, and that could really void your warranty.
No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems.
When your roof is needy,
call Grumweedy.
For your needy roof, go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
All Nissans are created equal. It's Nissan of St. Charles that makes the difference. At Nissan of St. Charles, we go the extra mile to make sure your happiness lasts as long as you own your vehicle. Every new Nissan or used vehicle we sell comes with our exclusive Lifetime Advantage warranty. So when you get your new Nissan at Nissan of St. Charles, you'll drive with peace of mind knowing it's backed by our exclusive warranty that lasts the lifetime of your vehicle. And be sure to ask about our Lifetime Tire program. Where else can you get a great deal on a new Nissan, a Lifetime Advantage warranty, and a Lifetime Tire program? The little things make all the difference. While all Nissans may be created equal, the difference is clearly Nissan of St. Charles. Located on North Avenue in the heart of St. Charles. Or visit us online at nissanofstcharles.com. That's nissanofstcharles.com. Nissan of St. Charles. Experience the difference.
Don't spend another night worrying about unfiled tax returns or the letters or the calls you're getting from the IRS. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, there's actually good news. The IRS has recently enacted changes in the tax law called the Fresh Start Initiative, specifically for troubled taxpayers who owe the IRS. You may be able to settle your entire tax debt for up to 85% off the original amount owed, including penalties and interest, if you qualify. Call Mary Karpowitz of locally owned Comprehensive Tax Solutions for your free consultation. No matter your tax issue, Mary Karpowitz, an enrolled agent and certified tax resolution specialist, will show you the difference between night and day. Quit hiding from the IRS. Call now so you can enjoy what matters most. And don't call a toll-free number to represent you. Call Mary, 708-478-6770, 708-478-6770, or go to resolveyourtaxproblems.com. Call now, 708-478-6770.
AM 560, The Answer. Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity. Right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
And we've got the other Sean here today, Sean from Elmwood Park, sitting in for Amy. We were talking about Obamacare replaced as a modified proposal is going to be introduced in the Senate and a floor vote, ideally hoped for next week, according to the Washington Examiner. And Rand Paul, there's a lot of people predicting everybody's going to get in line on this. Rand Paul has an op-ed in Breitbart. Senate GOP decides to keep Obamacare, in which he does not sound like he's getting on board. I miss the old days when Republicans stood for repealing Obamacare.
Yeah, me too. It'll happen again during election year.
Vince in Waukegan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan.
Hey.
Wait a minute. Vince. Hi, Dan. Hi, Sean. Let's do things right here, Vince.
Oh,
sorry. I had a temporary lapse.
All right, go ahead.
Right. Yeah.
Straighten up.
All right.
Anyways, for all the talk about health care, I'm wondering when somebody's going to actually talk about putting the onus of health care on the individual. America's is ridden with health problems due to people's poor habits, their eating habits, their drinking habits, their smoking. You're paying for $1 million for somebody's cancer treatment that's been smoking all their life. You're paying for somebody's diabetes that managed to develop it in their 40s because they've been eating poorly and never exercised. You got all these health problems, and nobody turns around and says anything about that. That's something I'd love to hear Trump talk about.
Well, thanks
for
the call, Vince. Appreciate it.
Totally agree with him, but what's that look like? See, you're either free or you're a slave. I agree with him theoretically. He's right. But I don't care. A person is free to look like J.B. Pritzker. If you like that and you could find some girl that likes it, God bless you. You're free.
He did.
So, come on. You think she likes his physical? She likes the $3 billion and being called Mrs. Pritzker when she's wheeled up to the plastic surgeon. But it's either about freedom or it isn't. He's right theoretically, but that's not the problem of what your choices are. The problem is you put everybody in a collective scam called insurance. Insurance was never meant to be something to rely on, to be provided by a government. It was a hedge created by bookies, hopefully to take your money for your entire life, then stiff your doctor at the end. That's the premise.
Yeah,
that's the business model. It's a fraud and a scam. And instead of us recognizing it,
Elmwood
we're
Park
propping it up.
synthesis
Well, that's what it is.
on insurance.
That's what it is. It's not virtuous. It's a scam. That's why they build the big buildings.
We'll be back with more of Elmwood Park's version of William Wallace.
Just
but
wake up.
At 5:38, the nominees for Best Actress in a Russian spy series are Kerry Russell and Natalia Veselnitskaya.
Oh, it's Kerry Russell.
And the Emmy goes to, well, you'll have to stay tuned at 5:38. Now we check the headlines with Dave Stewart.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Sean. Good morning. 76 degrees in Chicago, 531 at AM 560, The Answer. From the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom, it's Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. It's going to be a partly sunny day and humid with a high of 87. President Trump suggesting that Russian President Vladimir Putin would have been happier if Hillary Clinton had won the election.
If Hillary had won, our military would be decimated. Our energy would be much more expensive. That's what Putin doesn't like about me. And that's why I say, why would he want me?
Trump made the claim in an interview with televangelist Pat Robertson. President Trump's in France today, where he'll meet with the French President Emmanuel Macron. Terrorism and the situation in Syria expected to be on the agenda. 3 new polls suggest Americans aren't happy with President Trump. A new Gallup poll found only 40% of Americans approve of Trump's performance, 55% disapprove. An Economist YouGov poll puts Trump at 41% approval, 52% disapproval. A politically connected Teamsters boss has been indicted on federal charges alleging he extorted $100,000 in cash from a local business. John Coley Sr. charged with threatening work stoppages and other labor unrest unless he was given payoffs of $25,000 every 3 months by the business, reportedly Cinespace Chicago Film Studios. Coley's been a political supporter of Mayor Emanuel and Governor Rauner. The Cubs are still being recognized for their 2016 World Series championship. Actor Bill Murray accepted the team's award for, quote, best moment last night during the ESPY Awards on ABC.
108 years of waiting is hardly a moment.
Murray shared a champagne toast on stage with comedian Nick Offerman and retired Cubs catcher David Ross. In sports, Trailblazers over the Bulls 88-77 in NBA Summer League action. WNBA, it was the Sky 90, Dallas Wings 84. The news and service of Napa Auto Parts. It's that time of year when a scorching hot day can pop out of nowhere, so the folks at Napa Auto Parts would like to remind you that if you can fry an egg on the sidewalk, you can also fry your car battery. So head to Napa, where they'll help to keep your car running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how. AM 560 news time 5:33. Traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
Mike Gallagher says work is getting done in Washington, despite what you see from the mainstream media.
An awful lot continues to get done in this Trump White House, day in and day out. Bills are being signed. Legislation is being tackled. Yes, healthcare is going to be tricky. It's going to be tough. But if anybody can do it, it's this guy. You know it, and I know.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Right now with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet, get one free. Visit us online at galaxyhome.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. Save an additional $500 when you book right now.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. The storm season is here. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for sudden damage and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message.
At 5:36 from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, Jim Talamonte.
David, on the CTA Red Line, trains are stopped right now in the area between 47th and Garfield. CTA says there's an unauthorized person on the tracks. You could use the 29 State Street bus as an alternate. Des Plaines River Road is shut down between Algonquin and Viner due to the flooding. Many of the cross streets are closed as well in that area. Roads which were closed yesterday throughout the northern suburbs remain shut down as well. On northbound I-55, traffic is stop and go from Renwick Road to Weber due to a crash in that area. Now seeing delays on the inbound Ryan starting around 31st. 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 looking at 20 minutes. Make it 25 now from I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford at 18. Northbound Tri-State a little heavy approaching 290. Traffic is a service of Geico Chicago. Hey, Chicago, Geico now has even more ways to save you money. Your local Geico agent is ready to deliver the personal service you need with the savings you love. Call 773-582-AUTO. That's 773-582-AUTO for your local Geico agent. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer next, but now the forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Cloudy today, then partly sunny and humid a little bit later, high 87. Patchy clouds tonight, low 65. Tomorrow, partly sunny, not quite as warm, lower humidity. Tomorrow's high 77. Right now, 76 at O'Hare. Next news, 6 o'clock. Get continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MyPainChicago.com. World-class treatment for chronic pain. Go to MyPainChicago.com.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy, incredibly, is Sean from Elmwood Park.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Risk takers and heartbreakers at 560. They must be short the stock.
So, updating the Russian collusion.
Oh, God.
This story, per Trump Jr.'s saga this week, one of the things, and we didn't discuss it in tremendous detail yesterday. We had mentioned it when the story first broke earlier in the week. But you remember that part of the reaction from the Trump camp to the Trump Jr. meeting was the possibility that the improperly vetted, obviously, Russian attorney that Trump Jr., Kushner, and Manafort met with could have actually been a Democrat plant. The spokesman for Trump's legal team suggested that she may have had a connection to Fusion GPS, the firm that was retained and ultimately produced that phony baloney dossier on Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then this story comes to us from the Daily Caller. Former radical left-wing icon and Democrat representative, Democrat member of Congress from California, Ron Dellums, he made his bones being an anti-war guy.
Sure.
He was hired as a lobbyist for Natalia Veselnitskaya, the Russian lawyer who met with Trump Jr. in June of 2016. Dellums was a lobbyist for her. The former congressman, one of several high-profile Democrat partisans who were on Veselnitskaya's payroll, working to defeat that Magnitsky law, which I, earlier in the week, kind of charitably characterized as a law that precluded certain Russians from banking in the United States. Certain Russians. I mean, it was really about Russian mobsters who
allegedly
killed this lawyer named Magnitsky, who exposed a huge, financial scheme that they were engaged in.
Did it involve the IMF Bank, which has a propensity to lend money to ex-KGB mafia guys? No,
I don't know about
the
that.
one that we underwrite? Yeah, all right, let's get on with it.
I don't know about that, but Prevazon Holdings is a Russian-owned firm that was implicated in that mob-related scandal. And Magnitsky was a tax lawyer for a London-based firm that invested in Russia. He uncovered a $230 million scheme allegedly run by Russian mobsters. He informed the Russian officials of the corruption, and then he was subsequently killed. So that's the backstory to the Magnitsky Act and her efforts to lobby for its repeal, because as we've discussed, Putin didn't like it because he too is a mobster and a plutocrat.
As opposed to Madigan.
And so Putin responded by banning Americans from adopting Russian children. So anyway, that's just the backstory, just to add a little bit more specificity to it. But Dellums and other Democrats, high-profile Democrat partisans on Veselnitskaya's payroll, working to defeat the Magnitsky Act. So perhaps, as Jonah Goldberg wrote in National Review the other day, maybe everybody should just wait and see. Because this I don't know that anybody really knows what the hell is going on, and maybe, certainly including Donald Trump Jr., and maybe this is as straightforward as it appears to be. Maybe it's a little bit more involved, and you've got a little bit of a double switch going on.
Well, and even less people know how the real world works. What did he do? Here's the thing. It's a meeting. He took a meeting that he thought would lead to something.
Yes.
It's amazing to me how many people must not work in their life. Do you ever hear about the 80-20 rule? The 80-20.
20% of the people do 80% of the work?
No, not that, but when you're in sales, I am a real estate broker.
Yeah.
And one thing that you first learn is that 80% of everything you do is a waste of time.
Right.
You really only make money
on
20% of what you do. So you have a couple of options. There's
a lot of trial and error.
Well, you have to put effort forward. So he wants to get his father elected. And listen, if the people who know me, I'm not a pro-Trump guy.
Right.
But he didn't do anything. There's nothing here. It's a distraction, and it's detrimental to the country. So I have to defend this otherwise who I would consider a buffoon. All he wanted to do is get his father elected. He was contacted by a third party who said there is someone who has information on Hillary Clinton that is detrimental to her. And you want to get your dad elected, so let's meet with this person.
Yeah, but
fine.
The context matters. So the context that Trump Jr. provided.
The context is the meeting was 20 minutes. He realized it was nothing. He excused himself. I have to go to the bathroom, and take it easy.
There are two other important contextual points. One is that, as Trump Jr. pointed out, this is June of 2016. He didn't have the heightened sensitivity about this that he has today because there wasn't the daily barrage of stories about Russian collusion and accusations of treasonous conduct from Democrats and the D.C. press corps, and I repeat myself. So you have to recognize the time period. But the other contextual point that cuts against Trump Jr. and, frankly, Kushner and Manafort is that you had someone who, according to the go-between, was a representative of the Russian government.
Where's the proof?
Looking to provide information to you. I'm not saying that she necessarily was. I don't know. Although there's some indications that if you travel down the path, there may be some connections given her clients. But here's the point. The point is they were engaging someone they thought to be a representative of an adversarial foreign government for information. That's another important contextual matter. Whether she was or not, whether anything came of it or not, what they thought about her and what they were willing to do theoretically is relevant. Because it speaks to, at minimum, sloppiness or thoughtlessness about the idea of taking information from an adversarial foreign government run by a despot.
But, Dan, you knew that they had no sensitivity, no awareness of anything to do with Russia or the Ukraine when they hired Paul Manafort, a longtime scumbag, along with Roger Stone, a lobbyist working with various dictators and despots in that area of the world. Long time. But where is this collusion of this lawyer? Let's take this lawyer. I don't care what you want. Where is her collusion with the Soviet government any worse than Bernie Sanders? Bernie Sanders, who for 30 years celebrated the Soviet-style government.
Yeah.
Or how about Kennedy when he worked against Reagan? Or how about Kerry? I mean, they've all colluded with foreign governments to promote their vision of a government against their opponent. And it happens. Bill Clinton in Saudi Arabia. How many tens of millions exchanges hands? So all of a sudden, this meeting where no money was exchanged. Am I missing it? I mean, granted, you can only take so much of Tucker Carlson with the same thing day after day. But was there any money exchanged? Because if there's money exchanged, okay.
There's no allegation of anything of
the
sort.
So then he took a meeting with a girl named Natalia, a Russian lawyer. He probably just wanted to see how she looked. She came in the meeting, 20 minutes goes by, get out of the office. I mean, and we're spending all this time in this, and no one's talking about the ridiculous continue forward of Obamacare. I mean, they are, but they're hiding it, or the debt, or the spending, or the 16-year undeclared war, or 40 different fronts. I mean, there's major stuff going on, we're talking about a lawyer.
I concede your point that having Bernie Sanders, Comrade Bernie, as a presidential candidate in your party is de facto collusion with the Russians. It is getting a little bit silly, too, from both sides, and I don't think that trying to be clever or cute is helpful to the Trump administration, which is why Kellyanne Conway's appearance on Hannity yesterday, where she used flashcards.
She drives me nuts. Not just because she looks like my cousin Angelo in drag. She drives me nuts.
What are you auditioning for a Project Veritas undercover video, commenting on Kellyanne Conway's looks? You want to be producer for Chris Cuomo's show on CNN?
Hey, listen, I'll comment on Grady Pritzker's. I mean, on Grady Preckwinkle's looks. I comment on J.B. Pritzker's looks, and I do that because these people are ruling over us, and the least I could do is make fun of them while they do it.
Yeah, that's fine. Kellyanne Conway on Hannity doing her version of a character on the Electric Company.
So I just want to review, in case you run out of time. This is how I see it so far. This is to help all the people at home. What's the conclusion? Collusion? No, we don't have that yet. I see
the cards
illusion, and delusion. So just so we're clear, everyone, 4 words: conclusion, collusion, no. Illusion, delusion, yes. I just thought we'd have some fun with words. Sesame's Grover word of the day, perhaps, Sean, because you're absolutely right. To date, they basically set out this Venus flytrap and thought one day we'll catch something 8 months later. And yet, we really appreciate the fact that, we being the American people, I have to say, appreciate the fact that Don Jr. released those emails, appeared on your show for all to see. Compare that to the hiding and the furtiveness that we saw all during the last campaign by the other side.
I got to say, there's a couple of things that I don't like about what Kellyanne Conway did there. I mentioned the flashcards. It's condescending, and it's not, and it's attempting to be clever. Don't be clever. There's too much serious happening to try and be clever, number one. Number two, it's a little presumptuous. I'm talking for the American people. No, you're a spokesman for the Trump administration. You're not the spokesman for the American people. I understand the argument about the president being the president for all the people, but just focus on the 4 corners of the substantive issue at bar, and don't talk down to or presume to talk for the American people. This whole shop, this whole Trump comm shop, needs to be a lot better and a lot tighter if they want to be successful.
You're right, but that's the girl that brought him to the dance. That's what they've done this whole time.
I'm not saying that Kellyanne Conway isn't competent, isn't adept at what she does, generally speaking. I think that was a bad moment. And these are moments where you got to have your best game forward.
I think she has a bad moment every week.
Mike in Bolingbrook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, hey, Dan, how you doing? Sean, what's going on? Hey, listen, I got a couple questions. Number one is timing. The timing of Trump Jr.'s meeting coincides with the relevant timing that Obama was aware of, the possible Russian interference, and the timing of the edited tape of Obama leaning over and saying something to the Russian like, wait till the election's over. Isn't that time frame within like 30 to 60-day span?
Well,
line up and listen to your answer.
Thanks for the call, Mike. The allegations about when Obama was apprised of the threat that Russia posed in terms of their efforts to influence or tinker with the U.S. election, that was in the fall. So this is June of 2016. The report was September of 16 on that matter. So you're kind of in the ballpark, Mike. On the previous matter, that was quite a bit earlier.
Well, the real collusion also was with Medvedev, Putin's bagman. That is an amazing clip. I'll have more freedom after the election.
It is.
And I'll tell you another thing. How about the collusion with that communist scumbag in Cuba, Raul, the lowlife? I mean, what this guy did for Cuba, propping up a government that slaughters its own people, right? I mean, the word collusion was never used. It was great. We were going to open up our trade to Cuba. And you could always tell how stupid somebody is when they think that the Cuban citizens have money to buy our goods. That's a moron who probably has Axelrod as a professor and buys all this socialist utopian nonsense. See, that's
Fidel Castro on Fidel Castro's death. Enduring leader. That's how Justin Trudeau, one of these fashion-forward world leaders we're supposed to emulate. That's how he characterized a murderous despot like Fidel Castro.
But these are really American enemies, and that's real collusion, as opposed to meeting with some nobody attorney who has no provable connections to the Kremlin in any way, shape, or form. She's just Russian. I got a Russian that'll be smoking in my cigar store today. Is that collusion with Russia?
And maybe.
Who knows? By the end of the day.
Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, hi. I wanted to remark on the Kellyanne Conway clip on the Hannity show and your comment that it was condescending. It's not condescending to Hannity's audience. Hannity's audience is the 38% of the incorrigible cult 45ers that can't see their way through anything except what they want to believe from Pied Pipers like Sean Hannity. And we're in a dangerous place in this country.
Well, thanks.
People listening to that drivel and they think it's real.
Thanks for the call, Tom. I'm not sure that the best way to combat condescension is with it, but okay.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, I have to admit it was an eyesore. The chipping and paint peeling on our front and back porch, it looked awful. But thanks to CertaPro painters, the porch looks brand new. The painters who showed up were professional, respectful. They were done in just a few hours, and when they left, the house looked brand new. They really are the best in the business, and it's not too late to book your exterior painting project. There are several spots open on CertaPro's summer schedule. Here's an idea. Let CertaPro painters transform your home while you're on vacation and return to a freshly painted house. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year, and so we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. For a free estimate, call 1-800-GO-CERTA, C-E-R-T-A, or visit CertaPro.com, that's Certa with the C. Get that painting project off your to-do list. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that enhances what we do each morning on this program. It's our digital platform featuring long-form interviews with deep thinkers like Charlie Cook from the editor of National Review Online, who's our featured interviewee on Against the Current this week. Man on the Street, Follow the Logic segments, podcast of our Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics, My 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries, Illinois Opportunity Project's Pat Hughes's 2-Minute Warnings, as well as a new series we've launched, Heart of the Matter, which is professional women speaking about the salient issues of the day in kind of a colleague-to-colleague setting. Check it out and sign up at upstream-ideas.com
Deb,
today.
I'm so done with today. Traffic was awful. I couldn't stop for coffee. I have conference calls all morning, plus all these reports to go through. And look, it's 75 and sunny, and I'm stuck in here.
Relax. It's going to be an awesome day. Corporate is throwing a picnic in the parking lot for lunch, and they ordered tasty catering.
What? Did I miss the memo?
Apparently. It's going to be great. They got burgers, grilled chicken, sides, the works. You know, Tasty Catering's picnic food is excellent.
Oh, yeah, I know. We had them for our holiday party.
Today, they're bringing out the Make Your Own Burger Creation Station. They have everything you can think of, like sriracha, blue cheese crumbles, bacon, sautéed mushrooms, and caramelized onions. And they serve it straight off the grill, the way a great burger should be.
Okay, maybe there's still hope for today. I just hope I don't spill mustard on this new tie. Good thing I've got my bib.
You have a bib?
You don't?
Tasty Catering's picnic menu has all the delicious summertime food favorites you crave and more. Go to tastycatering.com to peruse mouth-watering picnic menus and start planning your picnic today. tastycatering.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%, APR 3.75%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
The temperature this summer is on the rise, and everyone is talking about one person, President Donald Trump. As controversy swirls around his presidency and the Democrats and the mainstream media take aim, what will happen next? Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for the Summer of Trump, Tuesday, August 22nd at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, also featuring Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/summer. That's 560theanswer.com/summer.
AM 560 News Time 5:57 from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Now here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, David. Flood-related closures remain in place across the northern suburbs. We see delays now on the inbound Kennedy Expressway from Cumberland to Canfield. 22 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound still fine at 20. Edens is clear. The Eisenhower. 31 minutes Thorndale to the post office. Outbound fine at 29. Northbound I-55, it is bottled up Renwick to Weber due to a crash there. And inbound Stevenson delays kick in around Harlem. 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's good at 34. Bryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown, crash at 18th in the right lane. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford 18. Traffic, service of Dove Men Plus Care. Here are the 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommend it. Dove Men Plus Care user Bobby said he doesn't know how it works, but it gets the job done. Sounds good, Bobby. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself, your local retailer. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
And now your forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, humid with clouds in the morning, then a blend of sun and clouds for the afternoon. High 87. Tonight, patchy clouds, low 65. Tomorrow, partly sunny with lower humidity, high 77. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
It's 76 degrees right now at O'Hare. AM 560 news time 5:59. Time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. In the news, from the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom, Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. A politically connected high-ranking leader of the Chicago Teamsters accused of extorting money from a local business. A federal grand jury indicted John Coley Sr. for allegedly threatening work stoppages and other unrest unless he was given large cash payments. One woman's in serious condition after a stabbing outside the Jefferson Park Blue Line station. Police say the victim was stabbed in the chest early this morning by another woman in the 4900 block of North Milwaukee. An investment group led by former Chicago Alderman Edwin Eisendrath has purchased the Chicago Sun-Times and the Chicago Reader yesterday from Rapports LLC. The group edged out a bid made by Trunk, owner of the Chicago Tribune. The news is service of LifeLock. It's morning. Here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. So go to LifeLock.com and use the promo code RISK to save 10%. National news coming up next. Fox News, ID, WIND Chicago. It's 6 o'clock.
The president is in Paris. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. He arrived before 3 a.m. Washington time, and President Trump will later sit down with France's new leader. Fox's Simon Owen live in Paris.
Dave, on the campaign trail, President Trump painted a bleak picture of Paris, saying he had a friend called Jim who didn't travel here anymore because, quote, Paris is no longer Paris, apparently referring to terrorism. But despite those concerns, the president accepting an invitation from French President Emmanuel Macron to attend celebrations tomorrow for Bastille Day, France's national day. Before that, the two presidents holding talks, expected to focus on Syria and counter-terrorism. They'll hold a news conference later and have dinner at the Eiffel Tower. Dave?
Simon, before going to Paris, the president took issue with the notion Russia wanted him elected.
There are many things that I do that are the exact opposite of what he would want.
And he's talking about Vladimir Putin. The president also talked about to CBN 700 Club. He'll be angry if they can't replace Obamacare.
I am sitting in the Oval Office with a pen in hand, waiting for our senators to give it to me.
A revised plan will be unveiled today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the revamped GOP health care bill, crafted behind closed doors, already has critics. Republican Senator Rand Paul says he's a firm no.
I think we're at impasse, and I think eventually they will come and talk to me if they want my vote.
Senator Paul says the revised version is worse than the original bill because it keeps more of Obamacare in place.
When the bill looks more like repeal, I could be a yes.
He said the legislation also gives insurance companies more subsidies. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell expects to see an updated Congressional Budget Office report early next week. Dave.
Rachel, bodies found deep in a 12.5-foot grave on a Pennsylvania farm. One has been ID'd as one of the 4 missing men police have been searching for.
This is a homicide. Make no mistake about it. We just don't know how many homicides.
Bucks County DA Matt Weintraub, a person of interest, is in custody. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Friday, July 28th, you're invited to be a part of sharing the good news that there is hope after abortion. Lake County Right to Life invites you to hear Vicki Thorne, founder of Project Rachel and the executive director of the National Office of Post-Abortion Reconciliation and Healing. Admission is free to the Lake County Right to Life annual banquet on Friday, July 28th at the Doubletree by Hilton in Mundelein. an internationally renowned researcher noted for her work on the biology of bonding and attachment. Thorne will address abortion, its aftermath, and the theology of the body. The Lake County Right to Life Banquet is a free event, but there will be an opportunity to make a financial contribution to support this pro-life education and action organization. To reserve a place at the Lake County Right to Life Annual Banquet on Friday, July 28th, you must RSVP by July 14th. Call 847-223-7022 or register online at lcrtl.org. That's lcrtl.org.
Hello, this is financial advisor Dale Bradley speaking to you from the Bradley Investment Center in Evanston. Have you ever made an investment through one of those large national brokerage firms? Have you ever felt like just a number? Well, at Bradley Investment Center, our goal is not to be the largest practice, it's simply to be the best by establishing and keeping true personal relationships. Visit us at BradleyInvestmentCenter.com. That's BradleyInvestmentCenter.com. Or better yet, stop by and say hello. We are at the corner of Central and Central Park in beautiful Northwest Evanston. We strive to be the center of all your family's investment needs. For more information, call the Bradley Investment Center at 855-940-8700. That's 855-940-8700.
Bradley Investment Center. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. Bradley Investment Center is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-348-2121. That's 1-800-348-2121. 1-800-348-2121. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You've heard me talk about my friends at Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. They're well known for excellent customer service, including custom designs, jewelry repairs by their on-site expert craftsmen. Their knowledgeable and friendly staff always ensures that you feel like family. Right now, they're offering a special family incentive for everyone. 20% off jewelry repairs and custom designs. You mention my name, Mike Gallagher, and get this exclusive offer. Roland's Jewelers has a large selection of beautiful engagement rings, and they're a direct diamond importer. Take advantage of wholesale prices on quality loose diamonds, as well as fine jewelry from designers like Hearts on Fire, Simon G., John Hardy, and Roberto Coin. Don't forget to tell them Mike Gallagher sent you. You'll get 20% off jewelry repairs and custom designs. I want you to visit RolandsJewelers.com or call 847-918-7300. 847-918-7300. Roland's, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy J this morning is Sean from Elmwood Park. Yes, seriously.
Yeah, well, you know, I look good in the yoga pants. My inseam's a little smaller, but it works well.
No, active wear definitely complements.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
So, Sean, you're going to like this as a small business owner, entrepreneurial capitalist yourself. We talked about one story yesterday. This is kind of two-pronged. It was the minimum wage increase that was advanced by Cook County government. And in the ordinance that would increase the minimum wage, it provides for municipalities within Cook County to opt out if they don't want to abide the Cook County minimum wage increase. And more than 100 Cook County communities out of the 130-odd communities have opted out. 130. So the author of the ordinance on the Cook County Board, Larry Suffrenden, who's a lobbyist.
Shocking.
Lobbyist and office holder, of course.
Yeah, why not? Lawyer?
He's a lawyer. Lobby Springfield, though. So it's separate. He doesn't lobby county government.
He's fine. How many video games he have?
So the because of the opt-out and because so many municipalities have opted out, Larry Suffrenden is moving through public sector unions to sue the municipalities who are opting out. So we're writing this ordinance with an opt-out. So if you don't want to do it, you can opt out. Except if you do it, if you opt out, we're going to sue you. You see how it works? You see how they cover their bases?
It's just outrageous. And, you let in by saying as a business owner, I'm going to like this story. And I'll tell you why I do. Neither, whatever you prefer, is in Cook County. I was smart enough to get out of Cook County when I opened my business.
But not smart enough to get out of Illinois.
Well, that's love and affection of my wife and her parents 2 blocks away, and that's why we stay in the, in the hub. But here's the other thing. One of the businesses is a real estate company whose sole purpose is to move people from Illinois to the well-run, friendly state with zero taxes, income tax, called Florida.
Yeah.
So, the dumber these...
Best governed state in the country, most fiscally stable state in the country, according to the Mercatus study of George Mason University that was released this week.
And the reality is, the more they do this, the more they take a man like my father-in-law, who has ties to this community for 80 years, and the more he thinks, you know what? I should really consider moving. So maybe a couple more bad decisions, and I can get the hell out of here with all the smart people.
Great. I've got those bad decisions for you. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. So Suffrenden threatening to sue or using public sector union cutouts to file a suit. I just, thankfully, we do have a few Republicans on the Cook County Board, and some actually seek legal opinions and trying to investigate these issues. So one is Tim Schneider, is Cook County Commissioner, and he actually solicited a legal opinion from the state's attorney's office on whether or not Cook County would have the legal authority to bind municipalities on this minimum wage ordinance. They don't. That was the ruling of the state's attorney, thus the opt-out provision. And so if you don't have the legal authority to bind them, how can you sue them for opting out? You can't. So what you're really seeing, by the way, is number one, I don't know how how's the state's attorney going to represent the county in pursuing litigation against municipalities, or I guess you have technically a private entity in a public sector union as the plaintiff, but it could be a standing issue. I guess you would say those public sector workers are negatively impacted by the failure to adopt the minimum wage. Maybe, but it's just fascinating. The Cook County State's Attorney has weighed in and said Cook County doesn't have the authority to impose that kind of mandate, and then it necessarily logically follows that they wouldn't have there would be no potential litigation to enforce the ordinance that they are legally able to opt out of under their home rule authority at the municipal level. But this is the thuggery and the kind of rule of men over the rule of law that is featured in Cook County and the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. So here's the next thing. I just want to get to the next thing. The next thing after this minimum wage matter, living wage ordinance, as well as compulsory paid leave. That was part of what was investigated. Here's the new thing for you. The Fair Work Week, quote unquote. The city of Chicago, and now you can be sure the Cook County government will follow, has introduced the Chicago Fair Work Week Ordinance. What does the Chicago Fair Week Ordinance guarantee?
Sounds riveting.
Fair Work Week Ordinance guarantee? Well, it is. It's something to pay attention to. The bill would guarantee workers the right to request more flexible and predictable work arrangements, and in some cases to review a more customized schedule. Workers will also have the right to refuse shifts that are scheduled within 11 hours or less between them. The ordinance will address common challenges facing workers, many of whom often report to work only to be sent home or put on call without any guarantee that work will be available. The way that it will address those common challenges will require payment for workers who report to work and then are put on call or sent home.
So the government has unionized people. They're a backdoor union.
Workers are also often scheduled for multiple non-consecutive shifts. The ordinance will guarantee workers at least 2 weeks advance notice of their schedules. They're going to run their business for you. Isn't this helpful?
Does it guarantee the business owner anything here? Nothing?
We're talking about workers.
Oh,
we're
the
talking
Worker
about
Party unite.
We're talking about the people, Sean. We're not talking about
Communist son
fat
of a
cats
gun.
like you.
Oh, yeah, fat cat.
This is going to
Stressed
come
out every month.
The good news about this ordinance, and this is right from the flyer that they are distributing, so it must be true, it's going to help in combating underemployment and underscheduling of Chicago workers by forcing it, because that's the way you help. This employers would have to provide new schedules and expected work hours to employees at least 14 days in advance of a change. If an employee's schedule changes with less than 24 hours notice, the employer would have to provide 1 additional hour of pay for each changed shift.
Yeah, come and collect it. Here.
And then employers would have to provide good faith estimates in writing in the employee's work schedule and minimum hours prior to or on commencement of employment.
You're ruining my day. You're ruining it.
What are you talking about? This will make for happy workers, and much like a happy wife is a happy life, happy workers are a happy workplace.
You know, I didn't really, when you first told me about this, I'm like, get out of here. No way. And then I read the discussion. And issue number 1 in this lawsuit, well, it's not a lawsuit, in this question to if they could sue. Issue 1, and this is written by Cook County Commissioners. As a home rule unit of local government, the county may exercise any power and perform any function pertaining to its government and affairs, including, but not limited to, the power to regulate for the protection of the public welfare.
Well, it always has to be for the general welfare.
This is out of the Communist Manifesto. This is something that is in the Venezuelan Constitution.
It's actually it's actually the language is actually in the preamble. So let's not get.
Well, this is that Grady Preckwinkle and her band of thieves from the fat slobs that say they're Republicans all the way to the corrupt Democrats can come in any business in that county and do exactly what they want to do because they get to represent the moral authority, and it is outrageous. So come and tell me to my face to do it. See, they use law, which is a weapon the average man can't fight.
Well, here's the thing. Are you excited about the prospect of the Fair Work Week mandates so that Chicago joins other enlightened communities like San Francisco, Seattle, and New York City, where comprehensive Fair Work Week laws have been put into effect? Maybe we should be even more enlightened like Seattle and impose a 2.25% tax on people who make more than $250,000 in Chicago, too. That'd be super enlightened. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. I'd love to hear from
pro-communists.
No, I'd love to hear from business owners, actually, because I want to know how many more employees you're going to hire as a result of the city government and county government creating a more stable workplace for you where you don't have to worry about underemployment or underscheduling of your workers anymore. They're going to be much happier. Everything's going to be spelled out. This is going to create a more robust, dynamic local economy.
Because now is the time for those business owners to unite and to lock out everybody. Shut it down. Now my offer to you is this. You get nothing. Nothing.
So you're going Galt, are you?
Absolutely. And you could break this county in a week by locking them up. Because we could have Grady Preckwinkle prance that kisser onto television and tell us how we're going to miss prison workers and doctors. She doesn't want to tell you about the county worker, the ghost jobs, the phony contracts that all find their way back into her coffer.
By the way,
shut it down now.
By the way, individuals behind this, just with the prospect of a city and county elections, but a city election, a mayoral election that sort of basically runs concurrent to the gubernatorial election. You're talking about the winter of 2019 for the mayoral election. You've got some faux Democrat reformers on the county board. Larry Suffredin is one. I mean, they're cast as reformers by the Chicago Press Corps. Bridget Gaynor is another one. They're behind these ordinances. So you think because Bridget Gaynor works for Aon, Pat Ryan's company, that she's an enlightened, Democrat who understands business and the things that need to be done in Chicago. to improve the business climate here. Just like Rahm was, kind of a new Democrat. He's not a left winger. So he knows he's got a business savvy and business sense because he made some rent-seeking money in the private sector for a couple of years, a 2-year foray into the private sector. That was the same bill of goods you were sold with Tiny Dancer. You're going to be sold it again in certain quarters with certain quote-unquote reform or independent Democrats, because they speak in complete sentences, so they must be a different kind of Democrat. Just like Tony Preckwinkle was going to be so much better than Todd Stroger or John Stroger. Is there any difference? Is it demonstrable? Is there any difference between Richie Daley and Rahm Emanuel? Is it demonstrable? No, it's not. It's reshuffling the deck chairs on this Titanic of a state, and I just want you to connect these actual proposals and laws that are being implemented and litigation that is being advanced to the people that are doing it. Because if you don't connect the dots, then we continue to get the same cast of characters with just different names and the same roles. That's all.
Yeah, Tony Preckwinkle, whose pillowcase and toilet seat have the same view. You don't make decisions for me. And that goes for you too, Silvestri, with the double-sided tape on your head. Nobody makes those decisions for me.
I'm trying to get a picture in my mind, but I really don't want that picture. Ann in Lakeview, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Hold on, this is Auntie Annie? Is this Auntie Annie?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, you her.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm a caller like you, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we love you. We miss you. We haven't heard from you in a while. I'm glad you're all right.
Well,
I thought they locked you up.
Well, now let her speak now.
No, they haven't locked me up yet. Okay, I want to complain about the new Kim Fox ordinance that she's not going to prosecute anybody who steals under $1,000. These shopkeepers are going to go for that. They got to pay wages, high wages, and then you can come in, 9 people can come in and steal under $1,000, and they're going to stand for this. And Rahm Emanuel wants to make, he wants to nationalize the lake. He wants to make it like Yosemite Park. What's going on? And he's going to Paris now. He wants to make the city a global city.
Yes, it's
See, that's why I love her calls.
It's the City of Lights Midwest.
She
Thanks
fit
for the call, Ann.
3 great things in that call. That's why I love her.
Yeah.
And what I want to know is that okay, you can steal, but what about this Teamster guy? Partnered with Rahm in numerous pictures with Rahm Emanuel, just extorted $100,000. What's his name? I forget his name
John
already.
Coley.
Yeah, he looks like a short, the guy who played young Frankenstein. This guy shakes down the
Fred
business.
Gwynn?
No, who played young Frankenstein?
Gene Wilder, you mean? Dr.
No, the
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. Not him, the monster.
Fred, that was Fred Gwynn.
No. It
Oh,
was
no. It was Peter Boyle. Excuse me.
He looks like a short Peter Boyle.
Herman Munster.
First of all, who's the business that would let this scumbag shake you down? Number one. Number two, he's been in how many pictures, affiliated how long with Rahm Emanuel in government? They're going to make the tie between corrupt governments like corrupt unions like the Teamsters and SEIU and the revolving door into Chicago politics, or are we just going to pretend it doesn't exist? Rahm had no idea this Teamster was shaking down businesses. None.
Mike on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm sorry. I just can't get worked up about Tony Bullwinkle, the tax moose, like you are, when there are other worse elected officials in Cook County. If you read the police blogs every day, you get an idea. We got Kamisha Fox, who's given probation to mothers who throw infants out of the windows.
Yes.
And we've got Tom Dart, who repeatedly gives people arrested and incarcerated for sexual assaults home monitoring so they can go out and sexually assault again. So if we can keep the scorecard straight, the Democrats that run Crook County hate taxpayers, babies, and women.
Hey, Mike.
Is there anybody left?
Before you hang up, Mike, as a father, what's the scariest thing your daughter could say to you? I'm going to the city. I'm going to the city shopping. Is there ever a more scary thing a daughter could say to a father?
No.
It's
I'm
despicable.
marrying a Democrat. That's probably the scariest thing.
That's true, too. Good point.
Thanks for the call, Mike.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I've got to do the weather. Come on, even I know that. When the mic's on, I do the weather, baby. Today, mostly cloudy with a high near 85. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 66. That's how you get sick. Friday, partly sunny with a high near 75. Friday night, partly cloudy, and it's going to get down to 65. You're going to get a cold. You got to have the jacket like Prop has on, which I think is the same one Amy wears. All right, now we're going to go to Jim Telemonte, who
I'm petite.
But I'm not going to be here tomorrow because I love Fedora Fridays by Jim Telemonte. But I got Tube Top Thursdays. Go ahead, Jim. Take it away.
Thanks, Sean. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. And Des Plaines, Central Road is closed. River Road is closed from a stretch from Minor up to around Algonquin. Lots of flooding in that area. And, of course, the flood-related closures continue throughout many of the northern suburbs. Eastbound Eden Spur, heavy starting at Waukegan Road. And the Edens itself runs 20 minutes, like Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 26 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Eisenhower, 38 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 32 minutes. Stevenson, now 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Earlier, there was a crash at Weber. That's cleared, so traffic is cleared up in that area. Ryan, looking at 35 minutes, 95th to downtown, crash at 18th in the right lane. I-57, 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop Ford 16, northbound Tri-State, heavy approaching 290. The other tollways are good. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Trust is the single most important factor in hiring a contractor. Dependable Construction and its founder, Joe Barron, built their business over 3 decades by being trustworthy. Tuck pointing, brick, and roofing is Joe's specialty. Joe started as a laborer, progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. In addition to masonry and roofing, Joe and Dependable Construction have grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects to any other type of remodeling or construction, you'll deal directly with owner Joe Barron. Call Joe Barron at Dependable Construction, mention AM 560, and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091, or visit tuckpointchicago.net. Again, the number is 773-244-1091, or online at tuckpointchicago.net.
If you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, your dental health. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You hear a lot of people screaming at you about dental implants. Get it done in a day, or we can treat everybody, or hundreds of thousands of implants. Look, successful implants don't come from an implant factory. What you don't hear talked about is skill, treatment, and installation. These are what make for successful lifelong implants. And that's why you need to see Dr. Noruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Noruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants. You need the experience, skill, and honesty that 24 years of dental implants brings.
This is Dr. Noruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics, 630-232-7400, 630-232-7400, or just remember, implantsforme.com, implantsforme.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Does forgetting your password make your blood boil? If technology is supposed to make life easier, then why is it so difficult to log into apps and websites? We're about to simplify your life now by giving you free access to Dashlane, the award-winning app that remembers and protects all of your passwords, making it easy to securely access all of your accounts. Get Dashlane free for life on your favorite device right now by texting PASS to 543-543. Dashlane makes life online blissfully simple, safe, and secure. Trusted by over 7 million users and 6,000 companies. Top-rated in functionality, security, and ease of use. Honored with over 70,000 five-star ratings. Dashlane, where passwords are never lost, never forgotten, and always secure. Unlock free access to Dashlane for life on your favorite device right now by texting PASS to 543-543. After texting, please enjoy a sigh of relief. That's PASS to 543-543.
All Nissans are created equal. It's Nissan of St. Charles that makes the difference. At Nissan of St. Charles, we go the extra mile to make sure your happiness lasts as long as you own your vehicle. Every new Nissan or used vehicle we sell comes with our exclusive Lifetime Advantage warranty. So when you get your new Nissan at Nissan of St. Charles, you'll drive with peace of mind, knowing it's backed by our exclusive warranty that lasts the lifetime of your vehicle. And be sure to ask about our Lifetime Tire program. Where else can you get a great deal on a new Nissan, a Lifetime Advantage warranty, and a Lifetime Tire program? The little things make all the difference. While all Nissans may be created equal, the difference is clearly Nissan of St. Charles. Located on North Avenue in the heart of St. Charles, or visit us online at nissanofstcharles.com. That's nissanofstcharles.com. Nissan of St. Charles. Experience the difference.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You've heard me talk about my friends at Roland's Jewelers in downtown Libertyville. They're well known for excellent customer service, including custom designs, jewelry repairs by their on-site expert craftsmen. Their knowledgeable and friendly staff always ensures that you feel like family. Right now, they're offering a special family incentive for everyone. 20% off jewelry repairs and custom designs. You mention my name, Mike Gallagher, and get this exclusive offer. Roland's Jewelers has a large selection of beautiful engagement rings, and they're a direct diamond importer. Take advantage of wholesale prices on quality loose diamonds, as well as fine jewelry from designers like Hearts on Fire, Simon G., John Hardy, and Roberto Coin. Don't forget to tell them Mike Gallagher sent you. You'll get 20% off jewelry repairs and custom designs. I want you to visit RolandsJewelers.com or call 847-918-7300. 847-918-7300. Roland's, a family-owned jeweler you can trust.
AM 560, The Answer.
Here we go. Now I like this song.
That is the voice of Sean from Elmwood Park. I am sitting in for me. He's sitting in for Amy. You're a fan of Shia LaBeouf, aren't you? The actor.
Oh, Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, whatever.
Shia LaBeouf. I
Shia
like
LaBeouf.
it. I like it. Yeah, whatever. You know, I like him as long as he's reading something somebody else wrote. I like him.
He was good in.
He's good in everything. He really is. Come on, he's good.
Not even close. He was good in Eagle Eye. I'll give you Eagle Eye, and I'll give you Fury.
Yeah,
that was a good movie. Fury's an underrated war movie. That was a great.
And he answers the question: what would Rachel Maddow look like with facial hair?
Yeah, you're kind of right about
Yeah,
that. Yeah, that is pretty good.
Uh-huh.
And if she was publicly intoxicated, she was arrested in Savannah, Georgia, for public and drunkenness and.
It's hard to get arrested in Savannah, Georgia, isn't it?
Well,
you got to be doing something, man.
Not that hard. He also used profanities and vulgar language, showed aggression towards a police officer, and as he was being processed at the police station, he was not of sound mind, so he forgot they probably record what you do in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
So they recorded him having this conversation with an African-American police officer.
You can place your right thumb on that thumb scanner for me. Thank you, sir. Hey, you're going to hell, straight to hell, bro. That's not very nice to say. No, it ain't, but it's real. You especially, Dabney. That's savage, man. Why, Mr. Dabney? Because you're a black man.
Oh. Are you kidding me?
It means a whole lot, bro.
You're going straight to hell because you're a black man.
Sandwiches, your racist ass situation, won't take pictures. How are we being racist? Because you got me in here on a hole from a black man who arrested me for being white in a city that don't have nothing to do with none of it. I'm sitting in I'm having a cigarette, asking 3 black people to have a cigarette. Motherfucker call me a racist. It happens just like that, my man. It's super simple. You call me whatever you want.
This is the same Shia LaBeouf that was up in New York leading the resistance against Trump, wasn't it?
You're sure this isn't History X2?
No.
Like the filming? No,
yeah.
You're positive?
This is, he said, a black man arrested for me being white. He told the black officer he's going to hell, straight to hell, because he's black. Now, as he's sobered up, LaBeouf issued this statement. My outright disrespect for authority is problematic, to say the least, and completely destructive, to say the worst. He apologized for the comments that he made. He's deeply ashamed of his behavior. He makes no excuse for it, and so forth and so on.
Drinks are on Mel Gibson.
Coming up is President Trump in danger of seeing his administration crumble before his very eyes. We'll ask National Review contributing editor and former federal prosecutor Andy McCarthy at 6:36. But now we check the headlines with Dave Stewart.
Thank you, Dan. Good morning. 75 degrees in Chicago at 6:31 on AM 560. The Answer from the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Looking for partly sunny skies and humid conditions today, a high of 87. President Trump is putting more pressure on the Senate to join the House and pass a health insurance bill.
We have 52 senators. It's very hard to get. You need almost all of them. And that's the holdup.
Trump told televangelist Pat Robertson he'll be very angry if it doesn't get done. White House spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders is slamming a move by one Democrat to get the president impeached.
I think that is utterly and completely ridiculous and a political game at its worst.
California Congressman Brad Sherman's introduced an article of impeachment against President Trump, alleging obstruction of justice in the Russia investigation. Meanwhile, in Washington, the McClatchy News Bureau is reporting the Justice Department is looking into whether the Trump campaign's digital operations may have helped Russia to attack Hillary Clinton during the campaign. They're reportedly investigating if the operation run by Jared Kushner pointed Russian operatives toward key states where they spotted weak support for Clinton. Former Chicago Alderman Edwin Eisendrath and the Chicago Federation of Labor are buying the Chicago Sun-Times. The paper sold for $1, but Eisendrath and his investors had to put up millions of dollars as proof they can keep the paper alive. And the woman who pays Illinois' bills is happy to see the state's credit rating stay where it is. Standard & Poor's says Illinois' new state budget and the $5 billion tax increase that fuels it is enough to stave off a credit downgrade. Controller Susana Mendoza says that the state's recent tax increase is a step in the right direction. In sports, Trailblazers over the Bulls 88-77 in NBA Summer League action. In the WNBA, it was the Sky 90, the Dallas Wings 84. News and service of CC's. Now at CC's, bring the party home this summer with 3 medium one-topping pizzas to go for just $4 each, only at CC's. At participating locations for a limited time, purchase minimum 3 pizzas. AM 560 News Time 6:33. Traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Dennis Prager sees a world upside down.
The brainwashed, educated, they're sick. The world is upside down. Good is bad and bad is good. It's just, in every arena, it's hard to get your mind around it.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Home isn't just a place, it's the feeling of knowing you're safe. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Learn more at ADT.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
At 6:35 from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, David. Major closures remain in place across the northern suburbs, including stretches of 41 in Lake Forest, 45 in Libertyville and Sheridan Road in Waukegan, plus in Des Plaines. River Road and cross streets are closed in the area between Algonquin and Minor. Eden's inbound 23 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy 26 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound now 28. Inbound Eisenhower delays start at Wolf Road, 39 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 33. Inbound Stevenson 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. Ryan 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow from the 83rd Street toll to the Mile Long Bridge. From the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, westbound 8094 heavy past Grant to Klein. Traffic service at Staples, but it's time for last-minute changes to a big presentation. Let Staples be your office away from your office, with everything you need to print, scan, or fax. Access files from a USB, email, or the cloud. Use the self-serve machines to avoid waiting and get back to business. Staples, it's pro time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer next, but now the forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Cloudy this morning, then partly sunny and humid this afternoon, high 87. Tonight, patchy clouds, a low of 65. Tomorrow, partly sunny, not quite as warm, a high of 77. Right now, it's 75 degrees at O'Hare. Next news, 7 o'clock. Get continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now, more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Running for your life from Shia LaBeouf. He's brandishing a knife. It's Shia LaBeouf. Lurking in the shadows. Hollywood superstar Shia LaBeouf. Living in the woods. Shia LaBeouf. Killing for sport. Shia LaBeouf. Eating all the bodies. Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Now it's dark, and you seem to have lost him. But you're hopelessly lost yourself. Stranded with a murderer, you creep silently through the underbrush. Aha! In the distance, a small cottage
Got a little
with a
Vincent
light
Price
up.
thing going on, huh?
The little
You move
thriller.
stealthily
Yeah.
toward it, but
Love
your
it.
leg, it's caught in a bear trap.
Gnawing off your leg. Living to the cottage.
Wow, it's. I guess Shia LaBeouf has done enough public damage that he warrants this kind of song. He's
Rachel Maddow with chin whiskers.
Amassed enough of a record. We just talked about his racist rant at Savannah Police Department. I assume that since he's a Trump resistance leader, that Hollywood will rally around this young man to get him the help that he needs for his hate.
Well, it's
and
gonna be
maybe do another parody song.
Him and Kid Rock, Senator, baby. Run off.
I don't think so. And he's not from Michigan. All right, we got to get serious. Go back to the adult world. Let Shia deal with his problems. And to help us do that, we're joined by our friend, former Chief Assistant U.S. Attorney in Manhattan and contributing editor at National Review, nationalreview.com. He's Andy McCarthy. Andy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
And so your piece, your most recent piece on Trump and Russia and the story dominating this week, you write, the question is not whether collusion is a crime. You're kind of not particularly compelled by the relatively dismal reviews and conversations happening on cable news channels. So you write, the question is not whether collusion is a crime. It's whether collusion is a high crime or misdemeanor. And if that's the question, what's the answer?
Well, at the moment, it's not. Obviously, there's an investigation, and it'll go forward, and we'll see. But my point is that in our system, and that's why I find the banter on the news channels so difficult to tolerate. In our system, when there's an issue of executive misconduct, the question is whether the executive, in this case the president, should be removed from power because he's not fit to wield the power that we trusted him with. Our system is not geared such that when there's an issue of executive misconduct, the remedy is to indict somebody or find a crime and indict it in court. And when you're talking about high crimes and misdemeanors, they're not. The question whether they violate penal law statutes is completely secondary and unnecessary. The only high crimes and misdemeanors are what Hamilton called the misconduct of public men. They're abuses of power, abuses of the public trust, and that's the sort of thing that they go to. It's almost a concept that goes more toward the military justice system, where you have concepts like conduct unbecoming and dereliction of duty, than criminal law concept where you're talking about penal statutes like I used to try to enforce when I was a prosecutor.
Well, so, but what about on the investigative side? Holman Jenkins in the Wall Street Journal writes in response to Frank Rich's piece in the New York Magazine, Watching the Downfall of a Presidency in Real Time. Jenkins writes that Frank Rich's typical left comparison to Nixon, to that, Jenkins writes, the relevant text here isn't Watergate memoirs, Mr. Rich consults, but 3 felonies a day by Boston civil rights lawyer Harvey Silverglate, who says the government can always find something on anyone. It was Nixon himself, Mr. Rich tells us, who said it's not a crime, it's the cover-up. But it would be even truer to say it's the investigation. The existence or non-existence of an investigation is almost an exogenous factor on its own. Does he have a point about that? And, Mueller's investigative team?
Yeah, that's why I was against there being a special prosecutor in the first place. And I was really against there being a special prosecutor the way one was appointed, which was outside the regulations of the Justice Department. The Justice Department regulations require there to be a crime to be investigated that the Justice Department, for some reason or other, has a conflict of interest and can't do itself, and therefore needs somebody who's semi-independent to come in and look at it. To my mind, what happened here, again and again, we were told that this investigation is a counterintelligence investigation. Counterintelligence investigation is not a criminal investigation. The point of it is not to build a criminal case. It's to collect information on a foreign power. So to have a prosecutor in a counterintelligence investigation under circumstances where in the Justice Department that normally doesn't happen, counterintelligence is agent work, not lawyer work, to me was not a good idea because there's no limiting principle on it. There's no limit really in any sensible way to Mueller's jurisdiction. And we've seen what happens with these special prosecutor type investigations over the years. Generally, they start in one place and they finish at someplace 7 steps away, often not having anything to do with the thing that they were originally brought in to investigate.
Well, right.
Everybody in the administration has to lawyer up. You know, they're trying to make policy, and instead they're worried about their criminal defense.
Well, and right, and so the Democrats now, because of this Trump Jr. meeting, it seems to me, see an opportunity to level up, to go after Trump Jr. Now you've got, again, with their smoking gun of intent to collude, even if it was unsuccessful, and so
we don't know that it was. We don't know that it was unsuccessful.
Well, okay.
Who says it was unsuccessful?
Okay, yeah.
Trump Jr.
Right.
Trump Jr. says it was unsuccessful, right? What did he say between Saturday, Sunday, Monday, when the story changed 3 times? Everything he said about it turned out not to be true. So
well, right, and we don't know that what the Democrats are alleging is true either. We don't know what Goldstone alleged in that email was true, or what Trump Jr. understood about it, or much less Kushner and Manafort, who haven't spoken at all on the topic. So okay, right. so I mean,
they did it to themselves.
No, I mean, I take your point, but I mean, in terms of Democrats pursuing this, and now Mueller looking at the emails and going wherever that goes. This is the approach, because there's no there still with respect to the principal, President Trump, but they can use, just as they've talked so much about Carter Page and Roger Stone and Paul Manafort, trying to use associates, including perhaps children of Trump, to get to Trump, right?
But that's the theory of all. First of all, the Trump campaign was working for Trump. The contacts here were between Trump Jr. and people in Russia who are associated with Trump's business partner in Russia. That's Trump. And the theory of our government is that the president, in whom all constitutional power is vested, is the head of the executive branch and is accountable for everything his subordinates do. Now, I complained about this throughout the Obama administration, that every time something happened, Obama would objectify it like it had nothing to do with him, and it was just this or that person in his administration.
Right.
That's not the way the system's supposed to work. The way the system's supposed to work is the president is accountable for what his subordinates do.
Now, Andy, I agree with you, by the way, but I was reading through your article, and like you, I'm reluctantly in the position of almost kind of defending the position and let's see what happened and all of that. However, I remember during the time when Hillary, and I hate to be one of these people that says, oh, well, look what they did and we should do. I'm not doing that. But I'm asking you as a prosecutor a question. And that question is, when Hillary Clinton was the Secretary of State and Bill Clinton took money from someone involved with a company called Uranium One, and a decision later comes out by the Secretary of State that benefits that company, why was that just but a news story on obscure sites and not something that was at the forefront? See, I don't want my country sold out by any party.
But see, I totally agree with that. The media suppressed that story, and of course it wasn't investigated because Obama was running the Justice Department. They weren't going to investigate Hillary and the State Department, right? But what I have suggested, and this goes against the general rubric of, or under the general rubric of impeachment, if we're going to talk about it, is a political remedy, not a legal one, which means you take all of these things into account. I think they ought to have a special counsel to look into all of this leaking that's gone on and the potential that the Obama administration was involved in political spying. We don't know that yet, but that ought to be looked into, just like this other stuff ought to be looked into. And Congress ought to be having some hearings about what happened with this Uranium One thing, because if Trump's conduct vis-a-vis Russia is going to be evaluated, I think it's got to be evaluated within the context of other things that we've tolerated with respect to our politicians and our government and the Russian regime. You know, this shouldn't be looked at in a vacuum. I completely agree with that.
And so then part of this specific story with Trump Jr. and the email chain and the meeting that took place, part of that in a couple of iterations now is a question as to whether this was an attempt to actually set up Trump Jr., not to lobby him to get to his dad. You had a spokesman for Trump's legal team suggest that she could have been essentially tied up with Fusion GPS, which produced that opposition research dossier on Trump. And then there's the story out today that several former liberal Democrats, including former California Congressman Ron Dellums, were on this Russian attorney's payroll as lobbyists. And so, that's part of this look into as well, isn't it?
Well, Dan, I've thought from the beginning that it was preposterous to think that Putin's goal here was that Trump win and Clinton lose. I think what Putin's goal always is, Putin hates the United States no matter who the president is.
Right.
And his goal is to destabilize our country and paralyze it and make it unable to pursue its interests in the world, particularly to the extent they compete with Russia's. And as far as that's concerned, by the way, he's succeeding to a fairly well, right? But I think what happened here, likely that we're going to find out ultimately, is that what Putin was trying to do was set up the Trump people and have something to hold over them. And they fell for it. I think they shouldn't have had this meeting, because simply by having it, you give Putin something to hold over you. Plus, in the event that they did take any information or use it, and we don't know whether that happened or not, they also give Putin a chip to play, so that when Trump, ratchets up some policy or other that could be damaging to Russia, Putin has methods or means to, try to squeeze Trump in the other direction. I think that's what's basically gone on here. I think Putin's an old-time KGB guy, and he knew he was dealing with a bunch of political novices, and he tried to hook them in a way that he'd have something to hold over on them, and they may have fallen for it.
Yeah. I think that's a plausible read at minimum. All right, he is Andy McCarthy, former chief assistant U.S. attorney in Manhattan, now contributing editor for National Review, nationalreview.com. Always worth reading his stuff. Andy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too. And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs, Teamsters Union leader facing extortion charges. The Dallas Cowboys, America's most valuable sports franchise, and e-cigarettes in the spotlight. Those stories next.
The world's silver supply is vanishing at an alarming rate. 90% of the silver available at the turn of the century is already gone. Silver is an essential component in nearly every industry and is of strategic importance to every country on Earth. At American Bullion, we see a tremendous opportunity in owning silver today. Experts are calling it the next silver super cycle, projecting the price to double or more from its recent lows. During the last silver super cycle, prices increased by 500%. Plus, silver comes with built-in protection against a stock market crash, global uncertainty, and currency devaluation. So it's a great choice as part of your retirement account. Any IRA or old 401k can be easily converted into an IRA that holds physical silver. The entire process is quick, simple, and secure because American Bullion specializes in converting existing retirement accounts into silver, and it's 100% tax-free. Call 800-445-4546 now to receive our free silver investment kit. 800-445-4546. That's 800-445-4546.
A high-ranking official with the Teamsters Union in Chicago facing charges for allegedly threatening trouble for a local business unless it paid him $25,000 each quarter. He faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. And today, Fed Chair Janet Yellen testifying before the Senate Banking Committee and a report due out on new jobless claims. A House panel trying to exempt so-called e-cigarettes from FDA regulations governing tobacco-based products. And for a second straight year, Forbes magazine ranks the Dallas Cowboys as the most valuable sports franchise in all America. Forbes says the Cowboys are worth $4.2 billion, followed by the New York Yankees and the soccer club Manchester United. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern, on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
How would you like to have insurance for your computer network? Something to protect your hardware and software, and more importantly, give you peace of mind. Using Turnkey IT for installation and support of your systems is like having insurance for your computer network. For one affordable monthly payment, your company gets a full team of certified technicians who are there for you, working in the background to ensure your systems are up and running. They'll help you over the phone and make house calls to your workplace. And Turnkey IT doesn't wait until there's an emergency call because they work hard to take preventative measures, keeping networks secure, backed up, and running nonstop. Turnkey IT can protect your network with the Turnkey experience where everything is included. Office 365 hosting, advanced network protection, cloud backup, disaster recovery, and unlimited remote and on-site support. Find out what Turnkey IT can do for your company today. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
There's so much to look forward to as the weather gets warmer. Outdoor sports and activities, backyard parties, and graduations. For your next celebration, party, or get-together, leave the eats to Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli. Whether it's around your table or theirs, Augie's is the place where sports teams, families, and friends celebrate with great food at a great price for almost 40 years. Try their signature subs, freshly made and fully loaded with the highest quality meats and cheese. Or choose from their fresh, never-frozen half-pound Angus beef burgers, authentic homemade Italian beef sandwiches, hand-rolled meatballs, pizza, and fresh salads. Dine in, surrounded by authentic rock and roll memorabilia, or phone ahead for orders to go. Whatever works for your team, Augie's offers fast, fresh, affordable food designed to make your special time with friends and family simple and easy. Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli in Carroll Stream or West Chicago. Don't forget to check out their extensive catering menu at augustinos.com. This season, let the good times happen with Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Yes, indeed, summertime. Another hot one. Wait, gonna be a little bit cooler today. Back to hot, gonna be windy. Maybe a thunderstorm mixed in for good measure. Up and down and up and down. The climate is always changing. Your company's heating and cooling system really gets a workout in Chicagoland. Be ready for anything this summer. Call Air Comfort and get your business's cooling system tuned up and running at peak performance. You see, the Air Comfort problem solvers can find small problems before they become big problems. Plus, proper maintenance will keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your chiller is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key to keep your climate from changing is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Sean from Elmwood Park in for Amy this morning, and bow at the bow for U.S. Senate in Michigan, Kid Rock.
Can't wait to see it. Him and Shia LaBeouf head-to-head. Debates will be riveting.
Kid Rock is going to ravage the federal government like hepatitis C ravaged his body.
Now, did he give it to Pam or did Pam give it to him? Because it'll be easier to get to the bottom of that than it is this Russian collusion thing.
I think it all traced back to some tattoo needle they were sharing.
Sure, it did. Yeah,
sure.
Crabs from a toilet seat. What are you going to do?
It can happen. Thank you for that. Kid Rock, on a website he's launched, kidrockforsenate.com. He's planning on taking on Debbie Stabenow, Liberal Democrat Senator from Michigan, in the 2018 election. His real name, Robert Ritchie, by the way. Kid Rock said, I have a ton of emails and texts asking me if the website is real. The answer is an absolute yes.
Love it. Where's Nugent in all this? Can we get him out there, too?
He's a Michigan boy.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let's shoot something, for God's sakes.
Welcome to the party. I'll rock the party. You never met a politician quite like me.
Can I buy Rock futures in 2020? I'm going Rock, Dwayne Johnson, all the way.
Well, they're going to compete for this slogan, in Rock We Trust. Is that going to be The Rock or Kid Rock?
Oh, it's The Rock. We got a better chance of him being an Austrian economist more than we do Trump.
What about Pimp the Nation? How do you like that for a slogan for a U.S. Senate candidate?
Well, that's Illinois' rule, isn't it?
Pimp the Nation.
Yeah, gambling, drugs, little prostitution. Let's make it work. The Giancana economic plan.
I guess Pimp the Nation is better than Have You Seen the Other Guys, which is the Democrat slogan for 2018. So, yeah, Kid Rock for Senate and Sean heading up the Dwayne Johnson, The Rock campaign for president.
You thought soap operas were on Channel 7 during the day? Wrong. It's Washington, D.C. all the time. We're the only ones who really make out lobbyists.
This is going very well, and we'll keep it going at 7:07 with Pat Robertson's interview of President Trump. But now we check the headlines with Dave Stewart.
Thank you. Among the stories we are watching this morning, a federal grand jury has indicted a high-ranking Chicago Teamsters leader for shaking down a local business for monthly payoffs. And Chicago police are investigating a stabbing near the Jefferson Park station. Those stories and more after a check of headlines from Fox News. 75 degrees, WIND, Chicago.
He'll have dinner in the Eiffel Tower. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump is in Paris, arriving about 5 hours ago, accepting the invitation of France's newly elected leader. Fox's Simon Owen live in Paris.
Dave, President Trump and his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron expected to set aside differences about climate change and trade when they meet for talks later. Discussions instead likely to focus on Syria and other counter-terrorism efforts. France, a key partner in the US-led coalition looking to counter ISIS. The two leaders also holding a news conference later, and tomorrow President Trump and the First Lady will be guests of honor at a military parade celebrating France's National Day, Bastille Day. Dave?
Simon, the president has some things to say about Russia and President Putin supposedly not wanting Hillary Clinton elected.
When I keep hearing about that he would have rather had Trump, I think probably not, because
When I want a strong military, she wouldn't have spent the money on the military.
And President Trump told CBN's 700 Club if the Senate fails to pass a health care bill,
I think it would be very bad. I will be very angry about it.
the Senate's Republican leader will roll out a revised plan later this morning, but GOP Senator Rand Paul is still a no.
It keeps about half of the Obamacare taxes, keeps most of the Obamacare regulations, keeps most of the Obamacare subsidies.
Paul and about 9 other Republicans opposed the first plan. The search for 4 missing men in Pennsylvania may have ended last night at a farm where a 12.5-foot deep grave was found.
They so far have only identified one of the bodies, and it's the youngest of the 4 missing men, 19-year-old Dean Financaro. As it goes for the other bodies, still not positively identified, but they call this a common grave, which sounds like the bodies were all buried together.
Steve Keeley with Fox 29 and TV in Bucks County. A person of interest is in custody. A SWAT team's outside a home in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where a man's barricaded himself after shooting a police officer responding to a domestic call. The cop was not badly hurt. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Good morning, 75 degrees in Chicago at 7:02 on AM 560 The Answer. I'm David Stewart from the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Partly sunny and humid today with a high of 87. A high-ranking leader of the Chicago Teamsters accused of extorting money from a local business. A federal grand jury has indicted John Coley Sr. for allegedly threatening work stoppages and other labor unrest unless he was given large cash payments by the business, reportedly Cinescape Chicago Film Studios. It happened, allegedly, while Coley was president of Teamsters Joint Council 25. Coley, a political ally of both Mayor Emanuel and Governor Rauner. A woman is in serious condition after a stabbing outside the Jefferson Park Blue Line station on the northwest side. The police say the victim was stabbed in the chest early this morning by another woman in the 4900 block of North Milwaukee. Heavy rain still causing problems across Chicagoland. Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Lake Forest had to be evacuated yesterday because of a power outage. The power's back, but the hospital still closed. Many roads still impassable. An investment group led by former Chicago Alderman Edwin Eisendrath has purchased the Chicago Sun-Times and the Chicago Reader for $1 from Rapports LLC. The group was edged out a bid made by Trunk, the owner of the Chicago Tribune newspapers. Mayor Emanuel is touting an innovation in 20 Chicago public libraries that will convert spaces into childhood learning centers. At the Harold Washington Library, Emanuel thanked Exelon for the $2.5 million grant behind these centers.
With Exelon's help, now 20 of our 80 neighborhood libraries will have early learning centers and rethinking exactly how kids learn, and with the help of not just building a space, but reimagining it.
The centers will be divided into different areas with activities designed for preschoolers, elementary school students, and tweens. In sports, it was the Trailblazers over the Bulls 88-77 in the NBA's Summer League, and WNBA's Sky over the Dallas Wings 90-84. The news service of Napa Auto Parts. It's that time of year when a scorching hot day can pop out of nowhere, so the folks at Napa Auto Parts would like to remind you that if you can fry an egg on the sidewalk, you can also fry your car battery. Head to Napa, where they'll help to keep your car running longer and stronger. That's Napa know-how. AM 560 News Time 7:04. Traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Hello, this is financial advisor Dale Bradley speaking to you from the Bradley Investment Center in Evanston. Have you ever made an investment through one of those large national brokerage firms? Have you ever felt like just a number? Well, at Bradley Investment Center, our goal is not to be the largest practice. It's simply to be the best by establishing and keeping true personal relationships. Visit us at BradleyInvestmentCenter.com. That's BradleyInvestmentCenter.com. Or better yet, stop by and say hello. We are at the corner of Central and Central Park in beautiful Northwest Evanston. We strive to be the center of all your family's investment needs. For more information, call the Bradley Investment Center at 855-940-8700. That's 855-940-8700.
Bradley Investment Center. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. Bradley Investment Center is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-348-2121. That's 1-800-348-2121. 1-800-348-2121. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
At 7:06 from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, David. Across the northern suburbs, most of the flood-related closures from yesterday remain in place. In addition, there seems to be more water in Grays Lake, where a number of roads are closed, including stretches of 83 at 137, also in Des Plaines. Got closures in the area along River Road. River Road is actually now open, though there's still high water, but some of the cross streets are blocked. Edens inbound has delays starting on the spur at Waukegan Road. Then it's 25 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 20. Kennedy, 33 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 28. The Eisenhower, 40 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 33. Stevenson, 48 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. Ryan is 38 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, stop and go from the Stevenson to the Mylong Bridge, where there's a crash in the right lane. Northbound delays from 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway up to Balmoral, it's heavy. Reagan Tollway heavy 53 to 355, Veterans Memorial, so Butterfield to Roosevelt and Army Trail to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer next, but now the forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A humid day today with clouds and some sun for the afternoon, high 87. Patchy clouds for the night, low 65. Tomorrow, partial sunshine with lower humidity, high 77. Clear night, low 62. Saturday, mostly sunny, high 84. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
At the lakefront, 75 degrees, 74 at Midway, 75 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Get continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is the infamous Sean from Elmwood Park.
Not on hold anymore, baby.
No, you're in 3D.
Live.
Which is not 3 times better, as it turns out. But here's the, you want to see how it's done in this business?
Go ahead, hit buttons, do what you do best, that voodoo you do.
Christopher Wray, Trump's nominee for FBI director.
The guy that everybody used to like and now we don't like him.
And Pat Robertson from Christian Broadcasting Network, 700 Club, who sat down and conducted an interview of President Trump yesterday. You want to see a connection?
Let's see it, baby.
You know what the connection is?
Not the chick with the spiders on her eyes?
Not Tammy Faye Baker.
No.
Al Franken.
Oh.
Al Franken is the connect. A compendium of senators singing the praises of one Trump nominee for FBI director to fill the vacancy left by Comey's termination, Christopher Wray, culminating with the aforesaid Mr. Franken, who finds that Christopher Wray is smart enough, good enough, and doggone it, people like him.
If you're confirmed, and I believe you will be.
From my point of view, you're the right guy at the right time. Good luck.
Lindsey Graham.
On a more serious matter, I know you to be a decent person and a good and devoted dad. So I think that's a pretty good start here.
Well, I'll be very candid with you. I'm going to vote yes.
Di-Fi's a yes.
I see him as being a good FBI director.
Mr. Wray, I have been very impressed with our meeting. I've been impressed with your testimony here today. You've come here at a hard time. This is under very extraordinary circumstances.
Get him an espresso.
I thank you for your willingness to take on this job. And I'm looking around. I'm feeling that you've had a good hearing today, and best of luck to you.
How about that?
Well, if that doesn't hit your snooze button, what does? I mean, but first of all, it's great because it sounds like Saturday Night Live the way I used to watch it.
Well, the question is, though, with that kind of bipartisan support and effusive support at that, does that mean that Ray will be an extension of Jim Comey?
He's going to walk through like old lady face Mitch McConnell's wife to the transportation head. He's a shoo-in because when you can get Dianne Feinstein, who single-handedly blew the Zodiac case out of the water. Remember when she was the mayor of San Francisco?
Yeah.
She's the one that blew the Zodiac case. So we never got him. Never got away because she, remember, leaked to him the information.
Okay.
Feinstein with the Speed Racer hairdo.
Yes, I'm familiar.
So you've got her, you've got Al Franken, and Lindsey Graham all on the same page. Shoo-in.
No, I know he's going to get confirmed, and that's interesting because of the hysteria about Comey's firing. So it seems like you've got bipartisan agreement that Christopher Wray is more than equal to the task, and so what's the big deal about a personnel change? So that's one of the questions. But the other question is, what is that bipartisan support signal? We're going to talk to Ron Hosko, who's a former FBI assistant director, at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour to get his impression. But I
ask him about the van in front of my cigar store?
You can,
right.
but he's retired, so I'm not sure he's
he
up
knows.
to speed on current operations.
They're watching everything, these son of a guns.
So that's a question for him, I suppose. Now, the connection, of course, to the Pat Robertson interview is that Pat Robertson ran for president in 1988, and that was back when
when Jesse Jackson ran?
One of the times.
That's great.
And that was back when Saturday Night Live was still funny. It's a long time ago. And none other than Al Franken did Pat Robertson as a presidential candidate. Now, do you want to hear Al Franken doing Pat Robertson, or do you want to hear me doing Al Franken doing Pat Robertson?
Let's go with Al Franken first, then you end it. See, I'm going to show you how to do it.
No, it's not. No, because then you have then I'm just going to be echoing what he did, and you can't compare. It should be me first. Then you see if I sound like Al Franken.
I always say end on a high note, but all right, go ahead. You know best.
I think it's a little unfair to call me a televangelist. I've done many things. I've mowed lawns. I babysat.
Uh-huh.
All right, that's mine.
As bad as it is to listen to, it's even worse watching it.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so you heard mine. Now, Al Franken is Pat Robertson.
I've been so many things besides a religious broadcaster. I'm a businessman. I'm president of the sixth largest cable TV network in the country. I've mowed lawns. I've been a babysitter. I've watched people's homes while they went on vacation.
All right, so,
I think you both sound like Al Gore.
I haven't done that much practicing. It's been a while since Pat Robertson ran for president, but
I didn't know he was still alive.
I think it holds up. I think it holds up. No, he's alive and kicking and cogent and interviewing the President of the United States as he did yesterday. And here's what the President had to say to Pat Robertson about Vlad Putin.
What do you think he wants? I mean, I know he said what he wants, but what do you think his game is?
Well, he wants what's good for Russia.
Yeah.
And I want what's good for the United States.
Okay.
And I think, like in a case like Syria, where we can get together, do a ceasefire, and there are many other cases where getting along can be a very positive thing. But always Putin is going to want Russia, and Trump is going to want the United States.
Putin wants Russia, Trump wants the United States.
I want somebody who's not 70 years old to be relevant and in charge of something. Go retire and sit on a bench and feed pigeons the way you two old farts are meant to do.
Which two?
Trump and Roberts. I mean, just
Robertson.
Whatever.
70. He passed 70.
I mean, really? I mean, can we just bring on a new flock from the Church of Perpetual Tax Evasion and everybody get the hell out of the way?
Oh boy, attacking churches.
Why not?
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah, me too. And guess what? All I got to do 10%. I'm in with you. Yeah, we're part of the same hypocrisy.
No. But it's. I think that's an interesting take on faith, but. No.
Hedging myself. Here, Father, take the check. I don't feel good. Yeah, I'm in.
And you send your kids to Catholic
Yeah,
school.
I just went last night to be shaken down. Here's what the tuition is, and of course you've got to commit for what we're short. Just give me the number. Don't give me the flim-flam where you guilt me into giving you money all year long. Just tell me what I owe, and here I go.
Well, let's talk about doing penance.
You know who else was
I'm talking
there?
about the teachers that have to interact with you.
You know who else was at the private school, the parochial school, getting the lowdown on how much we owe? Bunch of private school teachers. Because just like 50% of them, I don't feel the public school is good enough for my kid either.
You mean public school teachers sending their kids to private school?
Oh, I love it. Love the hypocrisy.
So Trump also suggested that to Pat Robertson, something he suggested before, but bears repeating, I guess, in the current context about him being a marionette for Putin, and that is that, on policy, Putin disagrees with what I want to do because I want to make America great again and energy independent and militarily mighty, and Putin doesn't like America. So that's a big difference. He probably would have preferred Clinton.
There are many things that I do that are the exact opposite of what he would want. So when I keep hearing about that he would have rather had Trump, I think probably not, because when I want a strong military, she wouldn't have spent the money on the military, but when I want a strong military, when I want tremendous energy, we're opening up coal, we're opening up natural gas, we're opening up fracking, all the things that he would hate, but nobody ever mentions that.
Yeah, I think he has a point.
He's right, but there's an assumption too that you demonize all the things he would hate. I don't necessarily think he would hate that. I don't think he would hate that.
You don't think who would hate
I don't
what?
I don't think Vladimir Putin would hate the fact that America became energy independent. I think that's a big assumption. He wants Russia to be energy independent as well, right? He wants Russia to be economically viable as we want America to be economically viable. They just disagree on how to do that. But I don't think that you have to assume that Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, I think you do, because if you start from the premise that Putin doesn't like America, he doesn't like America.
Doesn't like American sanctions.
He doesn't like America as the sole superpower in the world that can impose sanctions that hurt him and enlist other countries to abide them. And that's what superpowers can do. So he doesn't want America to be in a position where they're successful. And one way to be in a position of strength is to be energy independent. So I don't think it logically follows that Putin is indifferent about energy independence.
I'm not saying he's indifferent. I'm saying you're right. We can give him sanctions that cripple him economically. Is he supposed to like that? But I like what he did with Venezuela, because as we implement the sanctions on his energy, he partners with Venezuela, not allowing us to get our oil from Venezuela, right? If you look at the sanctions, if he's affiliated with a country, we can't do business with them. So once again, in my opinion, he cut off.
Well, apparently not. I mean, what do you want to? I mean, President Obama was pleased to do business with Iran. And even though Iran and Russia are allies, part of the dictators club, that's the policy you want to see pursued?
No, I want us to be energy independent. I want us to be. I think that competition between countries and energy is what's best for the American people. I want low oil. I don't buy this nonsense, this new economic climate where high oil is somehow good for everything.
Well,
I don't believe that.
Well, Trump isn't arguing that.
Well, it used to be every analyst on Fox and CNN and MSNBC for months. All I heard was that we needed high oil to have a high market. Remember? In order to have a strong market, you needed high oil prices. You remember when that was all the crave last year?
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm not sure which analyst you're talking about, but that's not material to this discussion because Trump is not pursuing policies that would stem the supply of oil or natural gas. He's doing quite the opposite.
I agree with Trump's position here. Okay. And what I'm saying is the only thing I don't agree with Trump on is his assumption of what Vladimir Putin's intent is. I think Vladimir Putin's intent has been very clear, not just in this term as his presidency, but as in before, and all what he wanted.
Term as president, like there's elections in Russia. His autocracy.
Okay, fine. What he's been advocating since he took over was that he was able to transact his oil in their currency. That's what he's really been advocating for.
Well, what he's really advocating for, that's a means to the ends, which is...
But that upsets our apple cart.
Russian strength, his revanchism approach to recapture the old KGB glory. That's Putin.
And what I'm suggesting to you...
He's a thug, and he wants territory that he believes is part of the Russian Empire, and he wants Russia to... be the dominant power in the world.
You're 100% right. I'm not arguing with you. Is OPEC a thug? Is those inbred Saudi freaks, are they thugs? They're oil price fixing, manipulating.
Yes, there are other thugs. What is your point?
Let's identify what right is, and let's only demand right and reject everything wrong, even when our government does it. That's what I want.
Kevin in Plainfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Sean, we love you, but this is the first time you're an idiot.
That's not the first time.
Well, you talked to my wife. I think last night she called me.
Russia's economy is an oil-based economy. The price of a barrel of oil is high.
Kevin, I said that. I said that.
They do not like the price of oil being down here in the gutter.
Well, it's not about, first of all, Kevin, it's not about down here in the gutter. This used to be considered high oil. Did you know that? Do you remember when George Bush was president and oil hit $28 and everybody freaked out? What he wants is oil priced in his currency. He doesn't want to be manipulated by having to do it in the dollar first, then put the oil exposed. So I'm not the idiot.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, Kevin, I mean, just to continue the Sean is an idiot theme, Sean ascribes to Putin's viewpoint that the dollar shouldn't be the reserve currency of the world anymore.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Because I don't want the fiat currency where we are now can print it up at any time. This is a Ponzi scheme, shell game, Keynesian economic wet dream. What we have as an economy right now.
Oh, that's a lot. Ponzi scheme, Keynesian economic wet dream.
I want our dollar fixed to hard, either a soiree of different precious metals. I want our currency to be truly strong because it has sound fundamentals, not because it has Mrs. Doubtfire printing it and not telling us what it is.
Is that a Janet Yellen reference?
Yes, it is.
All right. I'm going to think about
I want fundamentals.
I'm going to think about the mashup between Keynes and Freud during this break.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, now I have to do the weather. Mostly cloudy today with a high near 85. Totally guessing, making everything up. Tonight they say 66. Fine, open the windows. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a high near 75. Finally, I don't have to sweat all day. Partly cloudy overnight with a low
sweating a lot
around
in the
65.
afterlife, so you better get used to it.
Oh, come on. I told you I'm going to give the 10% to your priest. I know I'm in. Now we're going to go to Jim Telemonte. Tell us where that transgender in the Prius is screwing up everything.
Good morning. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Dan. Edens Spur eastbound delays start at Waukegan Road. Then the Edens is 25 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound just 20 for now. Kennedy, 33 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Express lane, save a minute. Outbound 32 minutes to O'Hare. Yeah, Eisenhower, just 40 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 41. Stevenson, 48 minutes. 355 to the drive. Outbound 38. Ryan, 35 minutes from 95th to the Loop. Bishop Ford, really light. Northbound Tri-State, heavy from 115th to the Hinsdale Oasis. And then from the Reagan all the way up to Balmoral near 190. Southbound at Slow Irving Park, the O'Hare Oasis. And from the Stevenson to the Mile Long Bridge. Veterans Memorial, slow Butterfield to Roosevelt, Army Trail to 290. Westbound I-80 heavy from 80th to Wolf after a truck fire. And many of those flood-related closures in the northern suburbs are still in place. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content on our digital platform that complements what we do on this show. Long-form interviews this week featuring Charles Cook in our Against the Current series. Charles Cook, editor of National Review Online, podcast of Illinois Rising, covering politics and policy. What's going to happen with SB1 school funding in the next 3 weeks? We'll have that on our Illinois Rising program, which also airs on these airwaves Sundays at 3 p.m. My 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries, as well as Pat Hughes from Illinois Opportunity Project commenting through his 2-minute warning series, and a new series we've rolled out, Heart of the Matter, which features professional women speaking colleague to colleague about the salient issues of the day. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've been on vitamins, I've been on all kinds of supplements, but nothing has come close to your product. The difference between before I started the product and afterwards is like night and day. I do have more energy, and that was what I really was after. I get all these benefits. It's wonderful. I had no energy at all, and I thought, how can I live this way? I do one little chore, and then I have to sit and rest. And I find that I get through the day pretty well, and I really have more energy. I look in the mirror and I say, I think I feel more alive. I think I look more alive.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Being a small business owner, you wear many different hats. You're the innovator, the marketing director, the CFO. But when it comes to legal issues, do you have the degree necessary to defend your business? Having an attorney on retainer doesn't have to be as expensive as you think. Gone are the days of paying $10,000 a month for help. Legal Shield is there to deliver personalized legal counsel without the outrageous prices of traditional attorneys. Business plans include unlimited advice, contract review, trial hours, and collection letters. No longer will precious hours and resources be wasted. Find an attorney you can trust with your livelihood. Call your Legal Shield associate today. If you're new to Legal Shield, call your independent associate Karen at 224-622-8842. That's 224-662-8842. Legal Shield. Worry less, live more.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. And it's about to get worse. The IRS just hired an army of new tax enforcers. So, if you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. Optima has access to a special IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands, even tens of thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop that army of new enforcers from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A-rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $500 million of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. Call now for your free consultation.
Call 800-711-5743. 800-711-5743. 800-711-5743. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Friday, July 28th, you're invited to be a part of sharing the good news that there is hope after abortion. Lake County Right to Life invites you to hear Vicki Thorne, founder of Project Rachel and the executive director of the National Office of Post-Abortion Reconciliation and Healing. Admission is free to the Lake County Right to Life annual banquet on Friday, July 28th at the Doubletree by Hilton in Mundelein. An internationally renowned researcher, noted for her work on the biology of bonding and attachment, Thorne will address abortion, its aftermath, and the theology of the body. The Lake County Right to Life banquet is a free event, but there will be an opportunity to make a financial contribution to support this pro-life education and action organization. To reserve a place at the Lake County Right to Life annual banquet on Friday, July 28th, you must RSVP by July 14th. Call 847-223-7022 or register online at lcrtl.org. That's lcrtl.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Sean from Elmwood Park in for Amy, and we've gone off the rails and careened into a discussion about
Let's get to this
currency manipulation.
Get to my genius on the phone, will you please?
Quickly, George and Moni, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Sean.
Hey, George.
Hey, man, you rock, okay? I mean,
he's talking to me, Prof.
Oh, okay.
The more art we make, the less his is worth. Simple as that. And just because you can print money doesn't mean you should.
Yeah,
So
that's
listen,
a different conversation than with the dollar as the reserve currency.
George, you capitalist, you.
Sean, man, Prof is holding you back. Snatch the pebble from his hand.
What do you think of that, Prof, with your chin whiskers like LaBeouf?
Oh, boy. You mean like Maddow. Coming up at 7:37, we'll talk to our friend Steve Moore from the Heritage Foundation, not about esoteric conversations about the world's reserve currency, but about real-world conversations about what's going to happen with Obamacare replace in the next week. But now we check the headlines with Dave Stewart.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Sean. Good morning. 75 degrees in Chicago at 7:30 on AM 560 The Answer. From the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom, Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Partly sunny and humid today, high 87. President Trump is suggesting that Russian President Vladimir Putin would have been happier if Hillary Clinton had won the election.
If Hillary had won, our military would be decimated. Our energy would be much more expensive. That's what Putin doesn't like about me. And that's why I say, why would he want me?
Trump made the claim in an interview with televangelist Pat Robertson. President Trump is in France today due to meet with the French President Emmanuel Macron. Terrorism and the situation in Syria expected to be on the agenda. In Washington, the McClatchy News Bureau reports the Justice Department is looking into whether the Trump campaign may have helped Russia attack Hillary Clinton during the campaign. They're reportedly investigating if the digital operation run by Jared Kushner pointed the Russian operatives toward the key states where they had spotted weak support for Clinton. Federal grand jury has indicted a politically connected Teamsters boss for allegedly extorting $100,000 in cash from a local business. John Coley Sr. is charged with threatening work stoppages and other labor unrest unless he got cash payoffs of $25,000 every 3 months by the business. That's reportedly Cinespace Chicago Film Studios. Coley has been a political supporter of both Mayor Emanuel and Governor Rauner. And the Cubs are still being recognized for their 2016 World Series championship. Actor Bill Murray accepted the team's award for Best Moment during last night's ESPY Awards on ABC.
108 years of waiting is hardly a moment.
Murray shared a champagne toast on stage with comedian Nick Offerman and retired Cubs catcher David Ross. In sports, Trailblazers over the Bulls 88-77 in the NBA Summer League. WNBA was the Sky over the Wings 90-84. The news service of CiCi's. Now at CiCi's, bring the party home this summer with 3 medium one-topping pizzas to go for just $4 each. Only at CiCi's at participating locations for a limited time. Purchase minimum 3 pizzas. AM 560 News Time 7:32. A check of traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
Joe, I love you. You gotta calm down.
The Joe Walsh Show.
I hardly ever raise my voice on this show. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I never get excited. I never lose my head. What? Why did we let Kevin get through? I never raise my voice, ever.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
My blood pressure, I think, is just fine.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
At 7:34 from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, David. Many major roads in the northern suburbs remain flooded, including stretches of Sheridan Road, 41, Lake Cook, and in Grays Lake, 83 and 137. Eden Spur eastbound delays start around Fingston Road, then it's slow Cicero to the junction. The Edens, 23 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Kennedy, 35 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound the same. The Eisenhower, 40 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 46. Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. Ryan is 35 minutes from 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound delays are Balmoral to the O'Hare Oasis, and from the Stevenson to the Mylong Bridge after a crash. Northbound, it's heavy Cicero to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway much of the way to Balmoral. Adams Tollway eastbound, just before Roselle Road, got a crash reported. Veterans Memorial delays are Butterfield to Roosevelt, Army Trail to 290. Traffic service of Jewel Osco. Shop Jewel Osco and stock up on quality meat items. During their big buy one, get one free meat sale, you can double up on everything from pork chops and petite sirloin steaks to Italian sausage, boneless beef round roast, and many other family favorites. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer next, but now the forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Clouds today in the morning, then partly sunny in the afternoon, a high of 87. Patchy clouds tonight, low down to 65. Tomorrow, partly sunny, not quite as warm nor as humid, with a high of 77. Right now, 75 degrees at O'Hare. Next news, 8 o'clock. Get continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
No Victocrats allowed. Why? Because we've got a country to save. Join me, Larry Elder, tonight starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is the Mike North of Political Talk.
Yeah, you're going to let me talk to Stephen Moore because I like him. I got some questions.
And Mike North at a hot dog stand. Sean from Elmwood Park has a cigar shop.
Whatever.
See the parallels. Yesterday, Pat Robertson garnered President Trump for a little sit-down because I think it's a little unfair to call me a televangelist.
It's like watching Wayne Newton sing.
I've been many things. I babysat, watched people's homes when they've been away. Now I've interviewed the President of the United States, Pat Robertson, talking to President Trump about Obamacare and its prospects for passage. Here's what Donald Trump said he is waiting for.
Number one, repeal and replace. I am sitting in the Oval Office with a pen in hand waiting for our senators to give it to me. For years, they've been talking about repeal, replace, repeal, replace. I think they passed it 61 times, repeal and replace. But that didn't mean anything because you had the minority, the Republicans. They didn't have the majority, so it wasn't going to get to the president. But if it ever did, Obama wasn't going to sign it, so it didn't mean. Now we have a president that's waiting to sign it. I have pen in hand. So now it means something. But with all of that being said, it has to get passed. They have to do it. They have to get together and get it done.
What will happen if they don't?
Well, I don't even want to talk about it because I think it would be very bad. I will be very angry about it, and a lot of people will be very upset. He's got to pull it off.
Yeah.
Mitch has to pull it off. He's working very hard. He's got to pull it off.
Mitch has to pull it off, and this morning, Senate Republicans are introducing an adjusted health care bill that would include the Cruz-Lee amendment to allow health insurance companies to offer less expensive plans that do not include all of Obamacare's essential health benefits, as long as they also provide at least one plan that does. The revised plan also includes $45 billion fund for states to use to battle opioid addiction. It would maintain Obamacare's 3.8% investment tax and 0.9% Medicare surtax on upper income earners. And that has Rand Paul still sitting out and saying that the Senate Republicans are basically saying it's okay to keep Obamacare. So how does this get hashed out? Can Mitch get her done, like President Trump said? We put that question to our friend Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, senior economist for CNN and Heritage Foundation. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys. Great to be with you. I like some of what I'm hearing, and I'm not too thrilled by some of the rest of it.
Well,
it's me, baby.
Give us what sum fits into which category.
Yeah, so they're kind of good, bad, and ugly. So first of all, I think that the solution, a big part of the solution to the problem of Obamacare, which has screwed up the insurance markets, is the Cruz-Lee amendment, because it basically gives everybody an off-ramp from Obamacare. It says, if you want an individual health insurance plan that is tailored to your needs, your financial situation, so on, you can do it. And you can opt out of Obamacare. And one of the biggest problems with Obamacare is everybody has to buy the same insurance package with 30 covered things. You know what, guys? I don't want contraceptive coverage. I don't actually want dental care. I don't want, drug abuse coverage. I just want the basics in case I have a bad accident or I have a serious disease. Everybody should buy this kind of insurance package they want. This is a typical liberal solution that everybody's thrown in the same boat together. So the Cruz-Lee amendment is crucial because it gives people far more choices. The liberals hate it, by the way. They think it's a death knell to Obamacare, which it would be, because what you would get is people would drop out of Obamacare and they'd get the insurance they want at a much lower cost. So I love that. What I don't like is Republicans genuflecting to the class warfare lobby in Washington. You know, they're basically saying, all right, we won't get rid of all these tax increases in Obamacare. Ladies and gentlemen, those are a big reason why the economy has underperformed over the last, 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 years. It's because of these big tax increases. One of the biggest ones was Obamacare, which put a huge increase in the tax on investment income. And investments in this country, we saw the capital gains and dividend tax go from 15 to 24% under Obama. That's about a 60% increase in the tax. Is it any wonder that businesses stopped investing?
I have a question for you, Stephen, and you're far more optimistic than I am, okay? I am not going to pretend.
Wait, am I optimistic?
Yeah, you are, because
I am optimistic. I do think they are going to get this done by Labor Day.
Listen,
you don't think they will?
I don't think they're ever going to give up the Gatling gun of taxation that Obamacare is. I think it's a fraud, a Potemkin fight. I think the Republicans love it as much as the Democrats because it is the yoke of servitude that they're never going to relinquish the citizens from under. They're not. So I don't even want to pretend.
Let me stop you right there and say you've been living in Illinois too long. You've got like Stockholm syndrome or something, and you saw what the Republicans did in Springfield, and so you probably think they're going to do it in Washington too. Look, I'm very frustrated. I do think they're running for the high grass right now, and just repeal every tax increase in the bill. I think right now they've surrendered on that issue, and it pains me because it means we're going to get less jobs, less investment, and ultimately the Republicans are going to be judged in a year and a half, and then in 3.5 years in 2020. On whether they rebuilt this economy and brought jobs back and got rid of Obamacare. By retreating on this, they're going to make sure that the economy grows slower than it would otherwise. That's stupid.
Well, you just said you think this gets done by Labor Day. I do. If you've got one of your friends and ideological soulmates, Rand Paul, still on the outside and perhaps representing others, and you still have some kind of middling statements from moderates like Heller in Nevada and Collins in Maine, then how does this get done? What does it look like when it does get done?
Yeah, well, that's a great question, Dan. The reason I say it's going to get done is because it has to get done. I mean, I can't believe. I mean, I know I'm a member of the stupid party, but I can't believe they would be so stupid as to not pass, at least in large part, a repeal of Obamacare. I don't think in the end of the day, Dan, Rand Paul will be a problem. I think he will vote. I mean, I think he's doing the right thing now. He's posturing. He's trying to get the best possible free market reforms. That's why I love Rand Paul. He's one of my dearest friends. He came to my wedding, for goodness sakes. But I think in the end of the day, when his vote is needed to get the 50 votes, I think he will be there. And then I believe the vice president will have to cast the tie-breaking vote here because you do have some bedwetters in the Republican caucus, many of them that will definitely lose 2. But I think they will get to 50 because, look, failure is not an option here. You just played that great tape, where Trump was saying, look, these guys have passed Obamacare, repeal 60 times when it didn't matter. Now it doesn't matter and they're not going to pass it.
I'm filling in for Amy, Stephen, so I'm not going to get to talk to you.
I know. You're no Amy. I hate to say this.
These yoga pants are very uncomfortable.
Yes.
But listen, here's my question to you.
Yeah.
It's not about the yoke of tyranny anymore. My question is, did you ever in your life think that flight to quality meant dollars to Bitcoin? And did you also ever think that Mrs. Doubtfire, the Federal Reserve, would take the position of being proactive when the entire purpose of the Federal Reserve was supposedly to be reactionary? And now that we are in this Keynesian soup quagmire, are we ever going to get out, or am I just going to have to just watch my head explode as I get older and the debt gets bigger and the spending goes up and the taxation is all over?
My advice to you is invest in Bitcoins.
There you go. See, when Stephen Moore tells you Bitcoin is big, you buy, baby.
No, but look, I think it was interesting last week for those who follow this stuff with the Fed. Janet Yellen made a very interesting statement where she said, she was asked about why don't we move towards a rule-based monetary policy, which is something that we as free market people are in favor of. Stop these elites in Washington deciding day to day what our monetary policy is going to be. Let everybody know what the rule is, so we take all the speculation out. And she gave a typical Washington swamp answer. She said, "Oh, these are very difficult, complex issues we're dealing with here, and most of the people don't really understand this stuff, and we need the flexibility to deal." No. So this is the big debate that's going on, and it'll be interesting to see who Trump decides to replace Yellen with, and he better replace her. I want somebody like John Taylor, who has the Taylor rule, that basically tells everybody in the financial markets, all the employers and stuff, here's what our monetary policy is.
Right.
Take this out of the hands of the elite. I don't even care what the rule is. Just have a rule and take this away from the individuals who are making this up as they go along with it.
That was the
zero interest rate policy for 7 years, and it gave us the weakest recovery from a recession ever.
That was the Friedman approach as well, Milton Friedman approach, and Janet Yellen sounds like David Brooks inviting a high school graduate to go to a gourmet sandwich shop with him. So let me.
Oh, he did. I mean, look, my friend Larry Kudlow, Larry and I are buddies. Larry says this best. He said, the Fed can print dollars, but it can't print jobs. And there is this mentality on the left. I see it every day among my liberal colleagues that they keep saying, the way to create jobs is to have the Fed print more money. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. They really believe that. If that were true, Mexico and Bolivia would be the richest countries on earth.
Government doesn't create jobs, Stephen. You know that. And you're a bit of a name dropper today, I must tell you. You Rand Paul, Larry Kudlow. You're dropping a lot of names. You know what I mean, Stephen?
I hang out with some pretty cool people. And, Larry, by the way, to do some name dropping, was the best man in my wedding. So how cool is that?
Well, let me ask you a question, Steve, because this direction that you're going, both with respect to monetary policy as well as with Obamacare replace. And it seems to me that a question that I guess needs to be put to at least the Republican congressional leadership is whether or not they understand that if we don't start growing, then the bubbles that are being blown up are going to start bursting, and you're going to have a very difficult you're going to have a very difficult midterm election, and you're going to have a very difficult next 2 years going into a presidential reelection.
You're exactly right, Dan. You get an A in economics and politics today. You're exactly right. And this is, in the end of the day, do you think anybody a year from now is going to be paying any attention to this Donald Trump Jr. thing with the right? I mean,
no.
CNN is 24/7 on that story. Nothing else are they talking about. Most Americans don't give a damn.
I'll tell you what I will bet you and Prof that whoever replaces Mrs. Doubtfire, Janet Yellen, is from Goldman Sachs. You want a piece of that more?
Actually, you're very insightful. There's a big rumor going around that Gary
it's going to be Cohn. Yeah, I know.
He was the CEO. Isn't it interesting, by the way, how Government Sachs always seems to put their people
Government Sachs.
in high-level positions? But back to your point, Dan, you're exactly right. Republicans will be judged by two things. Did they grow the economy? Did they bring jobs back to America, to Illinois and Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, those places that haven't seen them? And number two, did they kill Obamacare? If they do those two things, they'll be fine. If they don't, they're going to lose everything.
All right. He is Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist, senior economist for CNN, chief economist at Heritage Foundation. More titles than any free market economist I know. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Can't keep a job. That's the problem.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Steve.
Guys. Have a great day.
And he joined us on Turnkey.Pro answer line. But let's quickly, before we break, take Ralph from Rantoul. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning, guys. It's so hard to just come up with a short statement there because Steve packs in a whole lot of stuff into his segment. But the bottom line, in my view, is as long as pre-existing conditions are included in any of this garbage that's being put forward by both the House and the Senate, then you can't use the description market-based reforms or free market policies. There is no free market about that. You know what the free market equivalent would be if the government said, here, you have to cover pre-existing conditions? You get what we see right now. You see premiums go up, but you see deductibles essentially be, well, let's say if it worked in the automotive industry that way, your deductible would be the replacement value of your car. Right? If I can go in and buy an auto policy after a crash to cover my crash,
Ralph,
the insurance companies say, no problem. Buy the car. Your policy costs $10.
Here's the short statement, Ralph. Keynesian economics won, free market capitalism lost. You're now being told that tyranny is a right and we're subjects to it. Short, sweet, to the point.
The problem is that people just don't understand economics. And by the way, Keynesian was a smart guy, but he was a really crappy economist.
He was a mathematician. He was never an economist.
Thanks for the call, Ralph.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560.
Yeah,
The
that
Answer.
would help. All right, here we go with the weather. Today, mostly cloudy. I like the arguing when we're on commercial break better than the show. Today, mostly cloudy with a high near 85. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 66. Friday, partly sunny with a high 75. Prof, you going golfing Friday? Hacker? Yeah. All right. Oh, at night it'll be 65. At night it'll be 65. Now Jim Telemonte on Tube Top Thursday. How you doing? That orange one brings out your eyes, baby.
Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Dan. I-80 westbound, stop and go 80th Avenue to Wolfgate. There was an earlier truck fire, and then see delays as well from Cherry Hill to Richards. Eastbound, it's okay. A lot of flood-related closures remain in place throughout the Chicago area. The Edens Expressway is 23 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Kennedy, 41 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 41 as well. The Eisenhower, 46 minutes now. From Thorndale to the post office, outbound 45. Inbound Stevenson, 48 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 39. The Ryan is 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State's heavy, southbound Balmoral to the O'Hare Oasis, and from the Stevenson to the Mylong Bridge. Northbound, it's heavy from Cicero up to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, and from the O'Hare Oasis to Balmoral. Adams Tollway delays Barrington to before Roselle with a crash in the right lane. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, they need to do what I did and call David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. Juan, 23, foreman, income $40,000 a year, was nervous because his lease was expiring. Juan wanted to purchase a home and called David because he didn't have a down payment. David advised Juan to secure a gift from a family member for the down payment, which he obtained, and David helped him purchase a home. If you're purchasing a home, you should work with the best, and the best in the mortgage business is Team Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage. David and his team will honestly answer your questions, secure you a mortgage which best fits your needs at the lowest rate and closing costs up to $1,000 less than others. The first and only call you need to make when securing a mortgage is to David at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. David has helped Amy and Juan and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit him online at am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358, NMLS 19186.
As a parent, I have no problem making the investment of sending my daughter to a Catholic high school in the Diocese of Joliet because of the unparalleled achievement of its students. On average, students who attend one of the 7 Catholic high schools in the diocese have an ACT score of 24, almost 3 points higher than the ACT average of students who attend an Illinois public school. Also, 99.9% of seniors graduate from high school, and 99.6% attend a 4-year college or university. Additionally, a recent class of graduating seniors were offered approximately $145 million in scholarships. Most importantly, my daughter will be formed in the image of Christ, so she has the moral foundation to make the right choices based on the teachings of the Catholic Church. Participating Catholic schools in the Diocese of Joliet, in conjunction with the Catholic Education Foundation, are offering transfer grants of $1,500 to elementary school students and $3,000 to high school students who transfer from a public school. Restrictions apply. For more information, go to weteachmore.com.
All right, I know you're bombarded with MyPillow ads everywhere you turn, not only from me, but on TV, billboards, and in print. But the reason is simple. It's the best pillow available. You deserve a restful and relaxing summer, and the July radio deal using my name, Amy, in the promo code is the best deal available. It's the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack, including 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for half the price. You can move the fill to give you the exact support you need regardless of sleep position. You'll sleep deep and won't wake up to a stiff neck or headache. And our good friend Mike Lindell manufactures them in America using only American labor. You can wash and dry them. They're hypoallergenic. And you get a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit MyPillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs.
We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
The performance, conduct, and sustainability of organizations are a direct result of leadership. A leader's impact can be profoundly good or bad. We've experienced the devastating impact of unethical, selfish, and corrupt leaders. We've also experienced the impact of good and caring leaders whose honesty, integrity, and ethical conduct have created great organizations and a legacy of goodwill. Our challenging times require courageous, values-driven leaders to step up to these challenges. My name is Rich Panico. I am the founder and CEO of Integrated Project Management Company, IPM. I am blessed to lead a wonderful family of talented and caring leaders. Join us as we strive to change the world, one project at a time.
Trust IPM, the consulting industry's leader at executing your critical initiatives. For almost 3 decades, IPM has planned and executed projects in the life sciences, healthcare, consumer, and industrial sectors with honesty and integrity. Visit IPMCinc.com. That's IPMCinc.com. Or call Integrated Project Management's Chicago office at 630-789-8600.
Hey, protect your firearms and valuables in the best. A Liberty Safe from Maxon Shooters Supply. Maxon is Illinois' largest Liberty Safe dealer and stocks the complete line of Liberty Safes the best money can buy. Not in stock? Maxon will order it. You can pick it up at Maxon or have it delivered and installed almost anywhere in your home. And for a limited time, Liberty is offering interest-free financing for qualified customers. Owning a Liberty Safe has never been so easy. No money down and 0% financing for year one. Hey, visit libertysafe.com for details. For over 25 years, millions of American homes have trusted Liberty Safes to protect their guns, keep them out of reach of children, and protect their valuables from theft and fire. Liberty stands behind every safe with a lifetime warranty. If anyone tries to break into your Liberty Safe, they'll repair or replace it for free. Hey, choose the best. Trust a Liberty Safe from Maxon Shooter Supply in Des Plaines. Visit MAXONshooters.com or shop online at libertysafe.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Sean from Elmwood Park in for Amy this morning, and coming up at 8:08. Hey, Sean. Sun-Times Chicago Reader sold to a Dem politician and a group of Dem politicians in the labor movement.
For how much? How much did it go for?
$1.
75 cents, too much. Can I light my cigar yet?
I'm not going to comment on that on air. We'll discuss that over the break.
All right, fair enough.
Now we check the headlines with Dave Stewart.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Sean. Among the stories we are watching this morning, a federal grand jury has indicted a high-ranking Chicago Teamsters leader for allegedly shaking down a local business for monthly payoffs. Chicago police are investigating a stabbing near the Jefferson Park Blue Line station. And as you mentioned, a former alderman is leading a group that purchased the Chicago Sun-Times. In sports, the Trail Blazers over the Bulls 88-77 in the NBA Summer League. The WNBA was the Sky over the Wings 90-84. It's going to be a partly sunny and humid today with a high of 87. We'll have those stories and more after a check of the national headlines from Fox News. You're listening to WIND Chicago, 75 degrees. It's 8 o'clock.
He says he'll be angry if the Senate can't pass a health care bill. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It has to get passed. They have to do it. They have to get together and get it done.
President Trump also tells CBN 700 Club Obamacare is a failed experiment, and Republicans have promised for years to get rid of it. The Senate's GOP leader will roll out a revised plan this morning, and Republican John Cornyn backs it.
We need to stabilize the insurance markets because insurance companies are fleeing because they're losing money under Obamacare.
He says they'll protect people with pre-existing conditions, lower premiums, and they want to sustain Medicaid, but fellow Republican Senator Rand Paul tells Fox he is still a no.
I promised to repeal Obamacare, not to continue Obamacare.
He says that it keeps half the taxes and most regulations and subsidies. President Trump's in Paris, where later he'll hold talks with French President Macron.
There's an interesting chemistry that's developed between the two. They'll talk about trade, they'll talk about security, they'll talk about Syria as well, and then they will hold a press conference at which we expect questions will come up about what Donald Trump Jr. was doing when he had that meeting with that Russian attorney, Natalia Veselnitskaya, in June of 2016. The president yesterday, in an interview with Reuters, saying he doesn't fault Donald Jr. for having that meeting.
That's Fox's John Roberts in Paris. A deep grave found in the search for 4 missing men on a Pennsylvania farm. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has the latest live.
Cadaver dogs led investigators to a 12.5-foot deep common grave on a farm north of Philadelphia.
We can now identify Dean Finocchiaro, 19 years old, of Middletown, as one of the people that was found buried in that grave.
That's Bucks County DA Matt Weintraub, who says they're now treating the case like a homicide. Cosmo DiNardo, whose parents own that farm, is being held on $5 million cash bail. Dave.
And for now, he's charged with trying to sell one of those missing men's cars. This is Fox News, fair and balanced.
Good morning. 75 degrees in Chicago at 8:02 on AM 560 The Answer. I'm David Stewart from the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Partly sunny today and humid with a high of 87. A politically connected, high-ranking leader of the Chicago Teamsters is being accused of extorting money from a local business. A federal grand jury has indicted John Coley Sr. for allegedly threatening work stoppages and other labor unrest unless he was given large cash payments. One woman's in serious condition after a stabbing outside the Jefferson Park Blue Line station on the city's northwest side. Police say the victim was stabbed in the chest early this morning by another woman in the 4900 block of North Milwaukee Avenue. Heavy rain continues to create problems across the area. Northwestern Memorial Hospital's branch in Lake Forest had to be evacuated yesterday because of a power outage. The power's back. The hospital still not up and running. An investment group led by former Chicago Alderman Edwin Eisendrath has purchased the Chicago Sun-Times and the Chicago Reader for $1 from Rapports LLC. The group edged out a bid made by Trunk, who owns the Chicago Tribune. Your next paycheck will be smaller thanks to Illinois' new tax increase. The State Department of Revenue this week released the specific codes for payroll managers across the state to start withholding that tax, which now is 4.95%. In sports, NBA Summer League, Trailblazers over the Bulls 88-77. In the WNBA, the Sky over the Dallas Wings 90-84. The news is service of LifeLock. It's morning, and here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. So go to LifeLock.com and use the promo code RISK to save 10%. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, sponsored by Turnkey.pro. And from the Fox Business Network, Ginny Cosola.
From the Fox Business Network, Apple is reportedly running into an issue with the new iPhone to debut in September. MarketWatch says the problem is with a new fingerprint sensor, which is supposed to allow you access to the phone without a home button. Analysts say the issue could delay shipments, or Apple might have to deliver the phones without the sensor. Delta Airlines is reporting a disappointing quarter as its expenses increased, Delta's profit declined. Target and Walmart stock are rallying before the Wall Street Open after Target reported improving store traffic and sales this summer. Fed Chair Janet Yellen answers questions from senators today. Her encouraging words on the economy and her comments that the Fed will continue to raise rates gradually helped the Dow to close yesterday at a record. The Dow Jones Industrial's up 123, NASDAQ up 67, S&P gained 17. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
AM 560 news time 8:05. Traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560. The Answer.
Larry Elder doesn't understand the backlash towards Trump.
Look at his policies. And what's objectionable? Stimulus. Obama had a $787 billion stimulus program. Trump is calling it infrastructure investment. It's the same thing. Democrats love spending money. Donald Trump is proposing spending even more than what Obama wanted to spend. I thought you guys liked that. I'm trying to figure out what the problem here is.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shopped the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-348-2121. That's 1-800-348-2121. 1-800-348-2121. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
At 8:06 from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, David. Dozens of flood-related closures remain in place, including 41 in Lake Forest between 60 and 137. Stretches of Sheridan Road in Waukegan and Lake Cook and Deerfield, along with streets like 83 and 137 in Grays Lake. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 24 at Dundee. There's a right lane block and some tire debris. Kennedy, 41 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown, 28 from Montrose, 24 in the Express, outbound 41 to O'Hare. Eisenhower's 50 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 44. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. Ryan, 35 minutes from 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound slow from Balmoral to the O'Hare Oasis, and from the Stevenson to the Mylon Bridge. Northbound Cicero to the Hinsdale Oasis, the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, and also approaching Balmoral, that is. The Adams Tollway has delays eastbound Barrington to before Roselle after a crash. Veterans Memorial heavy, Fountain most of the way to Roosevelt, and from the Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
We got more of Chicago's Morning Answer next, but now it's the forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, humid with clouds in the morning, then a blend of sun and clouds for the afternoon. High 87. Tonight, patchy clouds, low 65. Tomorrow, partly sunny with lower humidity, high 77. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
It's 75 degrees now at the lakefront in Midway and 76 at O'Hare. Next news, 8:30. Get continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning. Excuse me, Dan, and in for Amy this morning. Sean from Elmwood Park.
That's right, baby. And you know, the guy doesn't
Not
hit my
your
mic on
baby.
time.
Not
Why
your
don't you hit
baby.
the mic, kid? When he's on, I want to be on. I never know if I got to correct him. All right. It's my job, I guess.
You know, why, when somebody puts a microphone in you, do you behave and talk so differently than you talk in your cigar shop when you're dealing with customers and you talk like a human being?
Ask the guy with the ACL hat on that I threw out last week if I talk different.
ACL?
ACLU.
Oh, you forgot the U.
Communist organization. Well, everyone knew it. It was implied. The U was implied.
But I'm not a member of the ACLU, so why are you yelling at me?
Because you're going to say something I don't like. First of all, you know what the problem is? I have to come in and I have to look at all this news, right? Which I normally look at in my car.
Yeah, you have to read.
And I
know.
pick and choose my spots. But the news is getting dumber. Antitrust acts against Amazon. How come the Antitrust Act that broke up Rockefeller instead of letting them fall apart the way he should have, that enriched the Middle East, now they're going to use it to break up Amazon? Why is it never used against the government? Why is it never used against IMF Bank or the EU? See, that's where the real monopoly, the real robber barons, the real frauds and corruption, they're in government. A la
Yeah,
Cook County.
but then you have leftists in charge of these huge companies, whether it's Larry and Sergey over at Google with Eric Schmidt, or
Let 'em
whether
fail.
it's Bill Gates over at Microsoft, or Jeff Bezos, who runs the Amazon Post now too, over at Amazon. They love big government, and they love the big government regulation. I mean, until
as opposed to Blue Cross Blue Shield,
until big government is turned on them, and then they don't like it so much.
the problem is you can bastardize our government to protect your monopoly.
Well,
to
that's
create a monopoly.
rent-seeking. Yes,
it's
that's
all about
the
the
rent-seeking
money.
problem. I want to talk about the press, though, piece of it, and since Amazon's a good segue, since they bought Washington Post. You had yesterday Dem politician Edwin Eisendrath and a coalition of Dem politicians, the AFL-CIO, bought the Chicago Sun-Times and the Chicago Reader for the handsome sum $1.
75 cents too much.
$1.
I get now. That's not the purple one with the SEIU who rally the morons to give themselves pay cuts in the long term through minimum wage. That's SEIU, right? That's not.
SEIU is part of the AFL.
And then the Teamsters were the little guy with a head like an anvil who just got shaken, just shook down the company for $100,000. Rahm Emanuel's right hand guy. He's in the news. That's not affiliated with the AFL.
It's part of the AFL-CIO.
It is. So the Teamsters are. You know
Well,
what?
they're the AFL-CIO is the umbrella group.
Yeah, like a shill organization. You know what Jesus told the Teamsters? Don't do anything till I get back. But no rim shot, nothing.
Save it for the cigar shop.
All right, you got it. I will.
There's some things you want to save for private.
Okay,
time.
yeah, I'm sure they're busy.
So here's the thing about the Sun-Times. Now this has long been the socialist workers' parent magazine or parent newspaper, I guess. But it's fascinating to me, and our friend Christian McQuarrie pointed this out on Twitter in response to this development yesterday. Boy, where's the talk about concern about the objectivity, fake as it is, but objectivity of the Sun-Times? You don't want it to become a political propaganda tool for the left. Where's anybody in the Chicago Press Corps raising that concern the way they have about Sinclair Media turning the Tribune properties they bought to the right? Sinclair Media, right-wing Sinclair Media. AFL-CIO? Just AFL-CIO? Edwin Eisendrath? After a group led by Edwin Eisendrath. At first reported here, Eisendrath and his group. Where's the characterization of Eisendrath being a hack feudal lord on the Chicago City Council for a term, being a failed candidate in a Dem primary for governor against Rod Blagojevich? Well, I'm not seeing this in the description of this individual and this group. It's curious to me.
Where are the union members' outrage that this group of bureaucrats just wasted their money by buying this loser?
Well,
I've always been amazed at that by these union members. That's how you know they're in on the scam. They don't care how they spend their money.
The $1, of course, is the transactional price, but Eisendrath and his group placed $11 million in escrow.
Exactly.
Monday. I mean, because they've got to capitalize this failing big government press outlet in order to sustain it. And by the way, the Sun-Times, you just in terms of straight market value, the straight economics, this would have been gone a long time ago. This would have been gone before Jim Tyree from Mesereau, who bought it, subsequently passed away, but who bought it as a vanity project. It was never going to make money. This thing is a dog. This thing is going to be out of cash in 3 months. It's just, the Sun-Times, as I've said for a couple of years now, and it's been staved off by vanity plays like this or political plays, because Edwin Eisendrath said in pursuing the purchase that was consummated apparently yesterday, hey, this is for the 99%. But they don't have a political agenda. They just want to do good, hard-hitting investigative news. Of course, the Mark Browns and the Carol Marines and the Mary Mitchells that are on their editorial pages are all hard ideological leftists. That's fact. Tom McNamee, who's on their editorial board, that guy's a communist and a
So what is the union principle anyway but communism?
Well, and so what is this going to be? This is going to be a propaganda rag for their people and their viewpoints. Or at least that's what they would say, as they have about, for example, the community outlets that I've started around the state. Well, because I'm a conservative and I don't pretend not to be. The no news that we do can be judged on its merits. All fake news because I have a worldview, because the publishers and the staff at the Sun-Times or the Chicago Tribune or the Daily Herald or any other outlet, they have no worldview. They are just objective, completely unbiased superhumans that run these other outlets that have no point of view, that are unable to be influenced in any direction, I should say, about the stories they cover or how they cover them, who they go after versus who they pump up.
Here's the other benefit you have. You're not financed by people who are forced into financing you.
No.
This astonishes me about union workers. You guys are the most useful idiots on the planet. 80% of your dues are spent on political contributions. The rest, what do they skim off to run, to pay themselves, to drive around in their Roadmasters and eat lunch on you guys? Right? Now the rest of it, you're gonna buy this loser, whether you like it or not.
Well, it's interesting.
What are you guys doing? What are you doing? Stand up for yourselves. You're pigeons.
You know what's interesting, and I don't know if you what your perspective is on the Sun-Times purchase. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 646-360-A, turnkey.pro, text line. The interesting thing about this, though, with respect to the union, they need outlets, and they need profile, and they need to ratchet up the
propaganda.
Ratchet up their marketing of their product and their organization. You know why?
They're losing members and always have been until the Democrats prop them up through government, which forces us to pay high for useless nonsense.
No, that's maybe a small part of it, but that's not really.
All right, I took a shot.
What's happening is a case called Janus versus AFSCME that's being taken up by the Supreme Court next term, so will be adjudicated by June of next year.
About the mother that has to pay dues to take care of her own kid. Is this the one?
No, that was settled. That was the Pam Harris case, but that was the start. This is fair share. And if the Supreme Court overturns fair share, Janus is an Illinois state government worker. If they overturn that case, as they're expected to do, and it would have happened in a different case out of California, Friedrichs versus the teachers union out there, but Scalia passed away, and so it was a 4-4 decision, and the lower court's holding held. But if they overturn it next year, you're going to see to the public sector unions nationally what happened to the Washington Education Association, which is the teachers union up there, with the budget repair bill that Scott Walker and Republicans advanced, where overnight, once they eliminated fair share, the teachers union lost 40% of their membership. What AFL-CIO and these public sector unions see coming is that Janus decision, the impact it will have on their ability to lord over members like you're describing, particularly the public sector unions, which are to be distinguished from the trades. I'm focused specifically here on SEIU, AFSCME, and the teachers unions, because that's who runs this state. That's who finances the Chicago Democrat and Vichy Republican power structure, and that's who they finance in return at your expense. So that's what I'm talking about. And so they're going to need to enlist every outlet and every persuasive capacity they have to hold fast their membership.
They have these workers by the Durbin. They won't let them go. They won't let them work. They extort them at every turn. They waste their money the way they want. And if these guys wiggle too much, now you're out and they bring in their moron cousin Ruprecht with the cork on his fork to fill a position that he shouldn't be in.
Ruprecht?
Ruprecht. He's the moron. You put the cork on his fork so he doesn't poke his own eye out. All these union guys, this is their family member. They make business agents. Morons. Let's take James.
James in Westmont, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hello, gentlemen. Sean, I haven't been in your cigar shop the last couple of weeks.
You might not want to after this union rant. I might have no windows soon, but you come on over afterwards. We rebuild, baby.
Sean was never seen after he left the studio.
I'm not a public sector member. I am a trade union member, but we do fall under the AFL-CIO umbrella, unfortunately. I agree with you, Dan, that this is a failed venture, so to say. I don't know what else you want to call it. And I am personally disgusted by it. I have sent in my own disgust for it, through my business agent and whatnot. And to his credit, he says, yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag here. People are like for it, people are against it. But one thing I can say about my union, at least, they kind of toe a middle line. I know that sounds weird, but it's true, because they have endorsed in the past, in fact, they were endorsing Jim Ryan versus Rod Blagojevich when he first ran. So,
are you like a local 150 guy, or what are you?
Don't get him in trouble.
$3.99.
Oh, $3.99. Stationary engineers.
Hey,
Yeah.
James. So
Thanks
my
for
old
thanks for the call, James.
my old man was a bricklayer.
Yeah.
All right, back in the 70s.
Union bricklayer.
Yeah. And first of all, I saw how he'd get shaken down just to work. Right? They shake you down just to work. But the beauty is, he would work on side jobs. He liked to do fences, and he would. And do you know these son of a guns would come to where they thought he was, and where most of the time he was, and they'd shake him down to not get him in trouble. It is a conglomerate of corruption built between the guy who actually does the work and the employer that he needs. So I have no tolerance for this. They force their way in, they extort every side, and now you just got this Teamster rat who's at the hip with Rahm Emanuel, shaking down a company for $100,000 to pay some Russian hooker on the north side. Sickening.
Well, I think you have to. Okay, I don't know about all that, but I think you do have to ask the question if you're rank and file member of the unions that comprise the AFL-CIO. So I'm sorry. So what do we get out of this?
Why don't they hit a union with an antitrust act? Has that ever been done?
Well, but I mean, what do you get out of the Sun-Times and the Chicago Reader? How is that going to advance your quality of life? How is it going to put more money in your pocket? How does it advance your interest in any material way?
You'll get nothing, and you'll like it. And by the way, you're going to pick up my lunch, too. How do you like that, union member?
Michael on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning.
So I'm a public sector union member, and I'm legacy. I've been in the union a long time, so is everybody in my family. And the biggest problem that I see is that the unions are political slaves to the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And every time they turn around, they raise our dues. We just got a 3% hike on our dues. We're actually one of the highest paying union within Illinois. And it's a nonstop thing. And no matter what you do, we can never get these officials out because they have it all tied up because they have convinced the uneducated voter that this is how life has to be. And when you keep people in a corral like sheep and they vote the way that they're told to, that's why nothing gets done. You know, they say that the conservative movement is damaging to unions across the board, but that's not actually true. It's the Dems that are really causing the havoc, and people don't see it. At one time, a city worker could support an entire family of 4 and have a home, have vehicles, and go on vacation, and that's not the case anymore. We are barely scraping by because of this political movement within Chicago, and Chicago is the worst, and we keep electing people like Tiny Dancer and all of these aldermen that have been here for years and years and years, and nobody sees it.
And what kind of car does your business agent drive?
Thanks for the call, Michael. Appreciate the perspective.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, today I have to do the traffic. Chicago, summertime, mostly cloudy.
You're doing the weather. That's called the weather.
Oh, the
Jim
weather.
Telemonte does the traffic.
You know what?
You don't know the
I
difference
love
between
Jim
traffic and
Telemonte.
weather?
And you know what it is? I can't wait to get to Telemonte. All right, this is the weather. Mostly cloudy with a high near 85. Tonight, it's going to get down to 66. Friday, partly sunny. High near 75. You can finally look appropriate in that jacket you have on. Partly cloudy overnight with a low around 65. Now, we go to my guy, Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Sean. Nice turn. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. The Eden Spur has delays from Finkston to the Edens, and the Eden itself fairly light. 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, it's 25. The Kennedy getting a little heavier now. 45 minutes, so Hare to downtown. A little quicker in the Express, but not much. The outbound side, 37 minutes. Downtown to the airport. The Eisenhower's 56 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 34 from Manheim. Outbound 47 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 56 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 41. Ryan, 35 minutes from 95th to downtown. Outbound 20 after a crash near 71st. Tri-State southbound slow 21 to 137. And Balmoral to the O'Hare Oasis northbound. Cicero to 31st. And Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. It's heavy approaching Balmoral and from the Adams Tollway to Dempster. Many flood-related closures, most of them from yesterday, are still in effect across the north suburban area. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Safety. It's so important at your industrial facility. You need to keep your personnel safe and meet OSHA requirements. One problem with your ladders, platforms, or safety guards, and you could be facing costly fines. Vans Industrial helps you meet OSHA standards to keep your employees safe.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. As a business owner, I realize the importance of keeping my employees safe, and I'm here to offer my expertise. Vans Industrial is a specialty contractor uniquely equipped to design, fabricate, and install safety equipment, including walkways, handrails, stairways, and machinery guards. Our Vans Industrial team can inspect existing systems, engineer solutions, fabricate quality goods, and install them with trained pros, all making a safer environment for your employees.
Call 219-931-4881 today for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
When I heard of Balance of Nature, and I said, because I had prayed, Lord, how am I going to get all this food into me that's so good to me? That's when I called. Now I know that I get my fruits and my vegetables into me, and I don't have to work so hard. I know that I am getting the proper things into my body. I do believe that if I didn't have this already in my body, my Balance of Nature, it wouldn't have gone so good for me. But because my body was healthy, that's what kept me going.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Do you know your bank's fraud tolerance? I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive. At Signature Bank, we have zero tolerance. While some of the big banks may write off smaller incidences of fraud, we use a multi-layered approach to fight fraud before it happens to our customers. There's been a record number of businesses hit with payments fraud this year. Keeping your business assets safe is our top priority. We are trained, and we will train you to recognize potential wire fraud threats and business email compromise scams. Call us today to find out how Signature Bank can work with your business to fight fraud.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with a 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5700. 5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59.5, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Sean from Elmwood Park in for Amy. And I just want to make one other point about the Sun-Times sale, that story. You know, I'll do something that the left never does and make distinctions. So the Sun-Times is a terrible outlet with a joke of an editorial board and editorial writers. But they have have always had some very good investigative reporters, some very good journalists. Scott Fornick, who used to be a political reporter, is now an editorial, who's an editor, I should say. Investigative reporters over the years like Tim Novak and Scott Warmberg that did great investigative stories. It's the same thing over the Tribune. So I can separate people who are talented, professional journalists who've done great work with the true mission of the Fourth Estate in mind from hacks on editorial boards and in editorial pages, which is more consideration than those same individuals in the Chicago Press Corps, the D.C. Press Corps, give anybody from a center-right perspective. So I just wanted to kind of make that point to distinguish us from them. We could be them. They couldn't be us. Let's keep it that way. Coming up, we're going to talk to Ron Hoskos, a former FBI assistant director, about what kind of FBI director Chris Wray is going to make. That's coming up at 8:38. But now we check the headlines with Dave Stewart.
Thank you, Dan. It's 76 degrees in Chicago at 8:32 on AM 560. The Answer. From the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom, Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Senate Republicans expected to roll out the details today of their latest revised effort to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act. Independent Senator Bernie Sanders says there's a reason why the bill's been kept a secret.
Every major healthcare organization in this country opposes this disastrous bill, and that is why the Republicans have not held one public hearing on this. They don't have the guts to go forward, hear from the doctors and the nurses.
The GOP is split between moderate and conservatives over what should be in that new plan. White House spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders is slamming a move by one Democrat to get the president impeached.
I think that is utterly and completely ridiculous and a political game at its worst.
California Congressman Brad Sherman has introduced an article of impeachment against President Trump, alleging obstruction of justice in the Russia investigation. In Washington, the McClatchy News Bureau is reporting the Justice Department is looking into whether the Trump campaign's digital operations may have helped Russia attack the Hillary Clinton campaign. They're reportedly investigating if the operation run by Jared Kushner pointed the Russian operatives toward key states where they're spotted weak support for Clinton. Locally, no one's injured after a house exploded near Libertyville. It happened yesterday in the 1700 block of North Sunnyview. The owners weren't home at the time. Former Chicago Alderman Edwin Eisendrath and the Chicago Federation of Labor are buying the Chicago Sun-Times. The paper sold for $1, but Eisendrath and his investors had to put up millions of dollars as proof that they can keep the paper alive. The woman who pays Illinois' bills is happy to see the state's credit rating stay where it is. Standard & Poor's says Illinois' new budget is enough to stave off a credit downgrade. Controller Susana Mendoza says the state's tax increase is a step in the right direction. In sports, Trailblazers over the Bulls 88-77 in the NBA Summer League. In WNBA, the Sky 90, the Dallas Wings 84. News a service of Dove Men Plus Care. Did you hear that 91% of guys that use Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant recommend it? A Dove Men Plus Care user, Bobby, said he doesn't know how it works, but it gets the job done. Sounds good, Bobby. Pick up some new Dove Men Plus Care antiperspirant for yourself at your local retailer. AM 560 News Time, 8:34. Traffic in 2 minutes on AM 560, The Answer.
Mike Gallagher says work is getting done in Washington, despite what you see from the mainstream media.
An awful lot continues to get done in this Trump White House, day in and day out. Bills are being signed. Legislation is being tackled. Yes, health care is going to be tricky, it's going to be tough, but if anybody can do it, it's this guy. You know it, and I know.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Hello, this is financial advisor Dale Bradley speaking to you from the Bradley Investment Center in Evanston. Have you ever made an investment through one of those large national brokerage firms? Have you ever felt like just a number? Well, at Bradley Investment Center, our goal is not to be the largest practice, it's simply to be the best by establishing and keeping true personal relationships. Visit us at BradleyInvestmentCenter.com. That's BradleyInvestmentCenter.com. Or better yet, stop by and say hello. We are at the corner of Central and Central Park in beautiful Northwest Evanston. We strive to be the center of all your family's investment needs. For more information, call the Bradley Investment Center at 855-940-8700. That's 855-940-8700.
Bradley Investment Center. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. Bradley Investment Center is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
8:36 from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, David. Eden's inbound. It's a 21-minute drive. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Eastbound Spur is heavy, starting around Fingston. Kennedy, 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 37. The Eisenhower is a 56-minute drive from Thorndale to the post office. 34 from Manheim, outbound 47 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 49 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown, outbound now 5 at 15. I-57 has a 5-minute delay approaching the merge. Bishop Ford is good. Tri-State southbound slow 21 to 137. Northbound stop and go 95th to 31st. Reagan Tollway to North Avenue and from the O'Hare Oasis to Debster. Adams Tollway stop and go Bartlett before Roselle. Reagan Tollway heavy in pockets from 59 to 355. Veterans Memorial from the Boughton Toll most to the way to Roosevelt. The Army Trail Toll to 290. Eastbound I-80 heavy Humboldt to Larkin. Many flood-related closures remain in place in the northern suburbs. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer next, but now the forecast, a service of aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Clouds today, but then partly sunny and humid, a high of 87. Patchy clouds tonight, low 65. Partly sunny, not as warm, not as humid tomorrow, high 77. Right now, 75 at O'Hare. Next news, 9 o'clock. Get continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. Now, more of Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
What up, Dan? And in for Amy this morning is Sean from Elmwood Park.
Get a little more excited about it, will you please? A little more excited.
You've worn me down after 3.5 hours. Yesterday, Christopher Wray, Trump's nominee to replace Jim Comey as head of the FBI, was before the Senate and did very well. I thought one of the interesting moments, which was relatively uncontroversial, non-event, his confirmation hearing. But one of the interesting statements he made in response to inquiries was that if the president asked him to do something he thought was improper or illegal, he would resign. He didn't say that he would memorialize that conversation in his Hello Kitty dream diary.
And then leak it?
To leak it to the New York Times so he could later testify publicly about it before a congressional committee to further aggrandize himself at the expense of doing his job and at the expense of the reputation of the FBI. So I thought that was nice relief on his part.
Now, is he 7 feet? Does he like to dress in women's clothes? Can we get a normal fella in there, for God's sakes?
He seems like he's a normal fellow, but the question is, he received so many plaudits from both sides of the aisle. How are we to interpret this? Listen to this compendium of senators' responses to Christopher Wray's testimony.
If you're confirmed, and I believe you will be, from my point of view, you're the right guy at the right time. Good luck.
Lindsay.
On a more serious matter, I know you to be a decent person and a good and devoted dad, so I think that's a pretty good start here.
Well, I'll be very candid with you. I'm going to vote yes. I see him as being a good FBI director.
Mr. Ray, I've been very impressed.
And here we go, Stuart Smalley.
With our meeting. I've been impressed with your testimony here today. You've come here at a hard time. This is under very extraordinary circumstances, and I thank you for your willingness to take on this job. And
cut this guy off.
I'm looking around. I'm feeling that you've had a good hearing today.
You're good enough.
Best of luck to you.
That's from Al Franken, obviously, and that's an indication of just how good the writers at Saturday Night Live were during his tenure at SNL. For more on the topic, what kind of FBI director will Christopher Wray make, and how will he fly information with justice as well as the special counsel, Robert Mueller? We're pleased to be joined by Ron Hoskow. He is former FBI assistant director and now the president of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. Ron, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good to be with you again. Good morning.
So how should we interpret the bipartisan celebration of Christopher Wray yesterday?
You know, I thought his commentary, his demeanor yesterday, the circumspect nature of his responses, in ways is perhaps what the FBI needs. I know the men and women who work there, who are really dedicated to keeping us safe from terror and fighting all the whole manner of crime that they are challenged with, are looking for the FBI to kind of be pulled down under the radar, the political radar in America. They've been in the center of the storm for a year, and I know they just want to get on with their important work. And if Mr. Wray's appearance yesterday is an indicator, perhaps he's exactly what they need at this time.
Well, Ron, too many of these political scoundrels like him, so I automatically don't. However, that being said, is there ever going to be a situation where the FBI, I am really troubled with this Uranium One and Bill Clinton Bagman. I know I sound like a dog with a bone and I can't let it go, but to me, it is a primo example of the political prostitution of our government, where Bill Clinton gets a $7.5 million check. Next thing you know, the Secretary of State, his wife, lets the deal proceed, and they've got 20% of our uranium. Can we get somebody with a badge to investigate this?
You know, it's a good question, and it could be that some of that is going on behind the scenes. Much of what the FBI tries to do is out of the public view. And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately in some cases, with dogged reporting and some leaks of information on important cases, whether they're from government or from defense attorneys or from potential defendants, a lot of their work gets exposed to the public view, perhaps prematurely, and where we're all making judgments about what we would like the result to be, and politics starts to encircle the case, and it's frustrating for the people who work there, because day in and day out, the FBI's job is not to comment on ongoing activities. It's unfair to them. It's unfair to would-be defendants, and and we saw a lot of this being played out yesterday, where Christopher Wray was really acting as a straw man or the foil for the political views of the senators.
Right.
I think that Mr. Wray acquitted himself much more effectively than did most of the senators who wanted to hop up on a soapbox and apply their political views on Donald Trump, on Russia, on any manner of things, rather than getting to the substance of Christopher Wray, the nominee.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what they do, and he's obviously too smart to fall for that. He knows exactly what they do. Just a kind of a question of first principles, given the special prosecutor, Bob Mueller, and the Russian collusion investigation and how kind of open-ended and parameter-free it is. How should this work? when the FBI and Justice, and in the cases where there's a special prosecutor like this one, how should it work, the interaction between those entities?
Well, in this case, as you said, I think Bob Mueller's charter is pretty open-ended. It's pretty broad, and I would caution against any belief that this is going to be resolved within the next year, within the next 18 months. He's hired a substantial staff. I think that is a first indicator of what he sees as the scope of his mission today. And I'm talking about just on the attorney side.
Mm-hmm.
That staff will also be added to by FBI agents who have been working Russia influence over the campaign, counterintelligence agents, certainly white-collar specialists, probably both existing agent workforce, maybe from other agencies as well, and I would think some retired folks, too, would come in and join as investigators, people with the right bona fides. But I think this is going to take a period of time. I do hope that it is that there's not a steady drip of leaks, which I think is unfair to everyone. And I think it's going to be complicated when you're talking about overseas engagements. We're talking about Russia. When you're talking about cyber intrusions that are complicated, when you're talking about the work of our national security agencies, NSA, potentially CIA, and others who have top secret collection methods that are going to be subject to examination by Mueller. You know, this is going to be complicated, and it could be that a good portion of the participants, of the players, are overseas. They may be overseas banking transactions, communications data, and somehow Mueller's going to have to get the other side of those communications, not just the U.S. side, and try to find witnesses that could potentially testify and validate what he believes. So I think it's going to be complicated and long.
Now, Ron, I always like the movie Minority Report, where we arrest people for, before they actually did something.
Pre-crime unit.
So I like all this, and I like all this intent verbiage, how the intent is this and the intent is that. I've got a question for you on intent. When Comey writes notes and gives it to a teacher, specifically knowing he was going to leak it to the New York Times, is that intent to commit a crime? What is that?
Yeah, listen, I work for Jim Comey. I work for Bob Mueller. These are two pretty darn smart guys, and I think what Jim Comey's intent was to, and I'll take him at face value, his intent was to spur the appointment of a special prosecutor, of a special counsel. You know, let's assume for the sake of argument he got exactly what he was looking for. I think part of his intent, too, was to defend his reputation that had been scourged publicly by the president. Whether you like Jim Comey or not, I think reasonable people might agree that the manner in which he was terminated and the subsequent public comments by the president were disgraceful. There's a way Jim Comey left an incredibly lucrative private sector position to come, and just like Christopher Wray, there's recent reports where he made $9.2 million last year as an attorney. He's going to get a tiny fraction of that as FBI director.
Well,
for a heck of a lot more headache.
You may some may argue though that Jim Comey's politicization of the FBI, as per Rod Rosenstein's explanation of his termination, was also a bit disgraceful.
I think that reasonable people would agree on that too. I think that Jim Comey went far beyond the bounds of what any prudent FBI director, assistant director, special agent in charge would do, because it is not their charter. It is not part of their mission to give public comments on an unindicted subject. There are a lot of folks who thought that she should have been indicted, but that is the job of the Department of Justice, of federal prosecutors, not of the FBI. Apart from what Jim Comey saw behind the scenes with Loretta Lynch and the tarmac meeting, I mean, there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle, and I think he could give a reasonable defense of his actions, but they were still far beyond the bounds.
Yeah.
And certainly potentially grounds for removal So saith a lot of reasonable people who have a lot of experience in federal government.
Let me ask you about the ongoing investigation and how important the media is, because it seems to me, boy, as open-ended the investigation is, and the possibility they'll look at the Clintons and the possibility they'll look at perhaps the Russian government working in liege with liberal partisans, left partisans, Democrat partisans to try and trip up the Trump administration or the Trump candidacy prior to the Trump administration. Those are all possibilities based on some aspects of the story that have surfaced. But it doesn't seem like that's certainly not central to the D.C. press corps narrative. And I wonder how the D.C. press corps narrative influences these investigative bodies to focus where the attention is being given by the media as opposed to maybe where there could be additional substantive work to do on other tangents to the story. You see what I'm getting at?
I absolutely do. I think that there are times when the work of the press is quite valuable. People who are party to transactions, who know about transactions, corrupt and otherwise, know they have an outlet in the press, a willing outlet in the press. Bob Mueller is certainly a consumer of headline news and going even deeper than just headline news. I don't think he's a consumer of one particular outlet over another. He's a smart, experienced guy, but I know he is a consumer of the news. I experienced it in working with him. We're watching and scanning, and he's expecting answers. However, there is a corrupt part of the mainstream media, I believe, a very corrupt part. I read the Washington Post every day. The Washington Post has an axe to grind. They want nothing more than to discredit the Trump presidency, to undermine his position as the elected candidate, the elected president of the United States. And you can see in every section of their newspaper on a daily basis attacks on him that are one-sided and unfair and perhaps in many cases unproven or will be later proven inaccurate. There is bias in the media, and it's the risk of us as the consumer. It's the risk to us that if we're listening just to one voice, and you see this on cable news as well, if you listen to one version of events, one voice, one panel of purported experts, all of whom share one view, you're going to be skewed in your understanding. And so it really demands us as the listener, as the viewer, as the consumer, to be smart, to listen to alternate theories, and because you cannot trust the mainstream media to provide that to you. It's a shame. It is a shame.
All right. He is Ron Hoskow, former FBI Assistant Director, now the President of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund. Ron, thanks again for joining us. Appreciate it.
Great to talk to you.
And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Belied by his promiscuity and policy is a discipline President Trump possesses that few other Republican politicians do. Trump knows who his audience is, who it is not, and he consistently leverages the latter to maintain the loyalty of the former. Trump is still speaking to and for the deplorables, those forgotten Americans who play by the rules only to be gamed by the system they finance. Al Cervic got into the club, but instead of cozying up to Judge Schmales, he's bringing his friends in with him. You can at once blanch at Trump's behavior and appreciate the truth it generates. Rocco Moose helped NATO allies find their wallets, and they did. The more lurid Trump's conduct or supercilious his comment, the more Trump's opponents voluntarily lay bare their barbarism. Trump tweets a fake wrestling video. CNN hyperventilates about make-believe violence, in stark contrast to the short shrift it gives actual violence perpetrated by the left, be it an assassination attempt on GOP congressmen, riots at Berkeley, assaults of professors, or attacks on police. The success of Trump's presidency remains an open question, but at least he knows for whom he fights.
Ever since I was little, I imagined owning a bakery. With hard work, I made it happen. But after this weekend's robbery, I realized that I need to protect my dream with security.
I've got a great answer for you. Alarm Detection Systems, your local family-owned business, understands the threats you might face. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300 and find out how we can protect you. License number 127000143.
I manage a construction site, and the other morning we had to send half of the crew home because of missing equipment. This nonsense is cutting into my time and budget.
Here's what you need to know. Alarm Detection Systems offers mobile security solutions that expand with your project. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300 to find out about our alarm and video protection. License number 127000143.
Have you seen the store shelves lately? They're already putting out the back-to-school supplies. The school year may seem like a million years from now, but it's actually just around the corner. And maybe this summer you've been rethinking sending your kids to public school. Things are changing in our public schools, and not always for the better. So now might be the time to consider sending your child to a private school. And you can do it for half the price of regular tuition thanks to halfpriceschools.com, where you can find tuition vouchers for private schools across Chicagoland available at half the normal price. No catch. It's simple. Find a private school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located across Chicagoland, including schools in Oak Lawn and Romeoville, Orland Hills, Waukegan, Antioch, Downers Grove, South Holland. Don't delay. School will be starting again in a matter of weeks. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. Many of these vouchers have already sold out, so don't wait. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
My legs were awful. I always felt uncomfortable and self-conscious.
I had never been real happy about the spider veins in my ankles and my legs.
I started noticing fatigue in my leg.
I was so self-conscious. Then I went to Vein Clinics of America.
It's time to love your legs again. Vein Clinics of America is the oldest, largest, most experienced vein treatment center in the U.S. Using state-of-the-art laser and minimally invasive treatments, they can begin restoring the natural beauty of your legs in as little as 1 hour with no downtime, and most treatments are covered by insurance.
I found the Vein Clinics of America, and look at my legs now.
You just feel like, you know what, I want to do so much today. It's such a big difference.
My experience with Vein Clinics of America was amazing.
Make sure your legs look and feel their best for summer. Call now to schedule a free fast-track consultation to find out how you can finally get rid of those embarrassing varicose and spider veins. Call 800-402-0707. 800-402-0707. That's 800-402-0707.
How can you get a better grasp on what your portfolio looks like for retirement? Tabota & Associates just might have the technology to help you answer that question. Jack Tabota and the team at Tabota & Associates builds retirement plans custom fit for you using a variety of insurance and investment products. At Tabota & Associates, no two retirement plans are the same, and they can use a tool called Riskalyze to show what your risk tolerance number is. Once you have it, you'll have a better understanding of how much risk you can take on and if your current portfolio is exposing you to potential losses that you cannot afford. Why not let the team at Tabota & Associates do the heavy lifting for you? 630-777-7955. That's 630-777-7955. Take some of the guesswork out of planning and Riskalyze your retirement portfolio today. Tabota & Associates, 630-777-7955. Investments involve risk, including the potential loss of principal invested. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. According to CreditCard.com, cardholders in Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Michigan are carrying over $33,000 of debt on their credit cards. The Federal Reserve recently increased the interest rates 1/4 point, which, according to credit enhancement expert Gary Novell, will increase the average credit card holder's interest payments $825 a year. The good news is home values have rebounded, so now is an excellent time to use your home's equity to eliminate your stress, pay off credit card debt, and lower your monthly payments. To see if you can use your home's equity to pay off your debt, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
AM560, The Answer.
Dan and Sean from Elmwood Park has been filling in for Amy all morning. Sean, do you have a Springer final thought?
We didn't get to talk about the nickel of tax on every gallon of gas put on us by Grady Preckwinkle and our band of thieves called Cook County Commissioners, on top of the Ray LaHood 10 cents. So in Illinois, we pay 15 cents just in taxes.
State. Oh, it's a lot more than that.
I know,
You got to layer in it all.
I'm just saying extra taxes. Extra. On top of it all.
The 5 cents a gallon tax increase was part of the state budget tax hikes that was just passed last week.
She makes Jan Schakowsky's husband go woof.
And on that note, something to leave you to think about, we'll turn it over to Dave Stewart with the headlines.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Sean. Among the stories we are watching this morning, a federal grand jury has indicted a high-ranking Chicago Teamsters leader for shaking down a local business for monthly payoffs. Chicago police are investigating a stabbing overnight near the Jefferson Park Blue Line station, and a former alderman is leading a group that's purchasing the Chicago Sun-Times. We'll have those stories and more after a check of the national headlines.